Parlay Pete, what's up? How you doing?
Doing fantastic. Got a lot of flooding going on here in Atlanta, but outside of that, all is well.
Man, I hope y'all are safe out there. It's unfortunate. I saw what happened on North Side. Hell, I saw your parking lot, and I saw what happened to Clark, Atlanta. Man,
I mean, how much worse can it get? And the crazy thing is, if I'm not mistaken, Clark, they were complaining about maybe not. We did. I mean, nobody foresees that coming, but they were complaining about living conditions in general at Clark.
well, they're bad now.
It was there, and I think Howard did it too. There were a couple of ACCs that did it, but I know that Clark was one of them too. And that really bad look on the AUC. Well, obviously not the AUC, but Clark.
Well, it's a bad look on the AUC because it's being packaged at Atlanta University Center.
Yeah, but we don't. Morehouse College doesn't have anything to do with that.
No, we don't. But yeah, man. Hate to see it. Shit.
You want to know what it does to Morehouse and Spelman? It reminds me of when I was a kid, man. Me, Justice, and my brother Taurus, we're all 2 years apart. In our rooms, we're all next to each other. Let's say that Justice was about to get his ass beat by my mom. He's about to get a whipping. So you know what me and Taurus are doing? I'm going into my bathroom. I'm cleaning up my dirty clothes. I'm trying to get my shit together before she gets to me. And essentially, that would be what would be kind of maybe what happens with the rest of the AUC. Something like this with Clark, it makes them have to go in and say, "Oh no, well, see, we're not going to have these problems. Even though we don't have these problems, these are the measures we're about to put in place to where something like this never happens again."
Bro, let me tell you what. That reminds me, my senior year of high school, I watched my little cousin. Shout out to Big Austin. He watches the show. His mom had to get up at like super early, and he was in elementary school, so like I would be there to make sure he woke up and all of that stuff, right? So I practically lived there. Austin was getting in trouble one day, and his mother is not one who gets angry too often. She's real cool, real chill, but when she gets angry, it's kind of scary. So he's getting yelled at. I'm in the room like bullshitting. I get scared. I'm 18 years old. I haven't done anything wrong.
And wait, so how old is Austin at the time?
5th grade.
Okay.
Like 12.
Okay.
11, something like that. I don't know.
But your senior ass is getting scared.
Yeah, because that's only the second time I seen my aunt get mad.
Yeah.
And the first time was at his older brother, and then I just casually left the house. I said, it's time for me to go.
Right.
But it's like, hold on, have I done all my homework yet? You know what? Let me just plug my headphones in and watch this movie. I don't want to be of no disturbance. I don't want to give her a reason to ask me a question. I answer it wrong. I'm bro. I'm out of it. No, I'm good.
Yeah.
But it's funny because I imagine you having brothers if one of your brothers decides to clean up his room, which I doubt that most dudes do growing up on their own, just on their own volition, but it happens from time to time. You probably start cleaning up.
Well, if you hear somebody getting their ass beat because they're not cleaning up, start talking about, now look, this is the era that I'm in. You start talking about one of the big things that we used to do as kids was take sodas and bring them up to our room. So you got soda cans or cups or whatever, like sitting bedside. Now imagine just constantly leaving it up there. And as a kid too, for the most part, for one, you're not supposed to be doing that. No. Eating and drinking's for the kitchen. Let's start there. But number two, not only is it that, but there's this potential ant problem because you're probably not finishing the soda and you're leaving sugar there. And
look, you're not taking it down in the morning.
You have a clean house. If you leave shit out, it don't matter. These animals are going to be able to smell it. I mean, rats, like everything they can pick up the scent between these walls, roaches, whatever it is, can pick up these scents. I mean, you've seen Men in Black, right? Edgar, what did he say when he went into that house? He said, sugar. But it's the same thing. So point being, if that's what I hear going on in there, I'm about to get my shit together. That's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get my shit together. I'm not worried about really what's going on in there. I'm worried about, I know that that she's about to make her rounds. She's gonna come in here next because now something has happened to make it to where this has got her attention. My room is right here. Me and Justice share the same bathroom, so I need to hurry up and get my dirty clothes in a hamper, and my bed needs to be made. My wrestling toys need to be put up. Like my video game shit needs to not be all over the place. Like my clothes need to be hung up. My clean clothes, like they need to be hung up. Everything needs to be folded. Let me hurry up and get this done before she gets in here because I can hear him screaming. So let me hurry the fuck up. Because I don't want to be screaming.
Man, that's funny. So we got a great show for y'all today, man. We're going to talk week 1 NFL. We're going to talk some college football. We might get to a little bit of basketball because we actually have some real basketball news. I think Adam Silver was being very strategic in putting his stuff out because he wanted to ensure that his league was getting some attention. So I'm going to open up the show talking about the importance of the preseason. Man, if you look at last week, the 4 quarterbacks who got paid big contracts kind of sucked. You know, Jalen Hurts, Joe Burrow, Daniel Jones,
Lamar Jackson.
Say again, and Lamar Jackson.
Yeah.
Weren't good. And one thing the 4 of them had in common is they didn't play in the preseason. And as we're getting quote unquote smarter in sports, I also think we're losing sight of what makes you better. Well, and we're seeing in the NBA, we're focusing so much on rest and training that we're forgetting about playing the game.
Mm-hmm.
The point of the preseason is to get the players out there, get their feet wet, get used to live hits under a whistle in front of a crowd to work on timing, to work through nerves. Yeah, it's to figure out who's good and who's not, who you're going to cut, who you're going to keep. But a lot of that's done in practice, right? But now we've gotten so smart that we're not going to play in the preseason because we want to save people from injury. Football is a violent sport. Players are going to get hurt. I'm not saying you go out there, you play your starters all 3 games, all 4 quarters. I'm not telling you to do that. But you got to give them live reps. You got to get them out there. You got to let them work on their time, and especially when you bring in new tools, new play callers. Joe Burrow, unfortunately, he was hurt, so he couldn't play at all. But Jalen was healthy. Lamar was healthy. Daniel Jones just isn't good, so I don't think it would have mattered much. But
yeah, it's just like Desmond Ridder.
Right. We just got to get back to playing in the preseason just a little bit. If we're going to have these games, they got to play in them. And as a season ticket holder, I pay for preseason football games. You're not giving it to me for free, but you're not giving me an NFL product. So for the sake of the fans, like think about the less fortunate working class fans who all they can afford is 4 preseason tickets to row 321, seats 11, 12, and 13, row 8. You're going to go out there and you're going to put a fucking JV high school team out there? They could have went down the street for that on Thursdays at 4:30.
Yeah, they could have probably seen better football, honestly. And so it's one of those things where I look at it this way, man. Preseason football, Matt Ryan, of course, everybody knows that I've got a fit there. Come on, go ahead.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Matt Ryan, crazy enough, I told you that he had an interview. I think it was last Thursday, and he did it on 790 The Zone. Or no, 680 The Fan is what it is. 790 The Zone is what it used to be called. 680 The Fan. And they interviewed him and they asked him about preseason football and his thoughts on it and what he thought, because he didn't actually, crazy enough, he didn't take any reps. I think he said that he only took like 2 different drives in preseason last year with the Colts. And he said that ideally for him, he would like to, spaced out over those now 3 games, he would like to get at least a game worth of reps. So quarter, 2 quarters. He said 3 to 4 quarters was kind of what it is that he wanted to see when it was for him. He said it didn't even matter. He said that was his first time on a different team, but he said there's always new guys. He said, of course, he always had Julio, but different running backs, how guys take handles. He said it could be anything, but he's like, and then either other guys. He said Julio got hurt a lot. He said I had other guys I needed to depend on, and if they were new to the team, I need to get some timing down there. So yeah, we have practice, and he said, yeah, in the off season, I would invite these guys. We would go have passing camp together or whatever. But he said that it's still not the same thing as a real game. He said preseason is as close to a regular season game as you're going to get in the NFL. And so for him, that's what he said. So I would like to liken it to anyone in the league that's about what you would want to see. You would want to see your guys have at least stretched out over 3 preseason games, a game worth of reps. So if you have, it depends, right, on the type of game. But for the most part, most offenses are getting, for the full game, 12 to 16 drives, just depending on the flow of the game. You're going to get about 12 drives in a game at minimum, typically. You get 12 drives out of you in the preseason, I think it works, right? Because, it used to be with the 4 preseason games, that 4th game you didn't play in. That is the I'm not getting injured game. But that 3rd game, they always play the whole first half. And the game before that, you at least played the quarter, and you might have sat out the first game. If you didn't, you ran the first drive at a bare minimum.
Yeah, and I remember Shannon Sharp talking about it back when he was at Fox. He was like, "No, Skip, I play preseason. I'd go get thudded up a little bit. Like I had to feel it. Pause. You know what I mean? Like you just need to get out there and do it.
That's exactly what Matt said too. He said I wanted to get hit a little bit. He said I hadn't been getting hit for 6 months.
But we're seeing too much emphasis on the science of sports and the money in sports that we're forgetting that sports is about playing and winning the game. Like the bare bones of sports is, hey, I am better than you, whether it's coaching, playing, strategy, whatever it is. And I'm going to prove it to you by playing the game. But when you throw in these analytics folks who need jobs to be relevant because they want to be around sports, but they can't really coach, they definitely can't play. So they find ways to come up with these fucking formulas that are up wild to me, like the win probability formula that the 4-letter network puts out. What? Like
it's one of the worst ever.
Like what? Like how do you even create this algorithm? I don't care. And then you see it in basketball with all of the rest. You see the full off season of working out. Hey man, rest in the off season, play during the season. That's what it is for me. Obviously, you work on your craft in your off season, but rest in the off season so that you can play throughout the season. It's disrespectful to the fans. It's disrespectful to the essence of the game. Play the game. Anyways, you ready to talk a little ball?
Yeah, I'm ready to talk a little ball, but even to get into the point of where you were going with it, I know where we're going to start with ball, and you can look at that situation. Now, granted, turf has something to possibly do with it too, but you look at a guy that was new to a team that I think had 1 drive in the preseason because they did eventually play him, but Aaron Rodgers had 1 preseason drive, and then he lasted 4 snaps. It didn't even matter. It didn't matter how many. Like, it didn't matter, and but who's to say that maybe if he's out there, I don't know, maybe getting more reps with those guys. There's been so much that's circulated around for I'm sorry, Michael, this dude, the dude that does the Let's Get Ready to Rumble.
Yeah.
It looked like he had the biggest fake watch on, but it's like I know it wasn't fake. So it's just I don't know. I just looked at it, it just looked fake. But it's not fake, more than likely. But with Aaron Rodgers, who knows? It could have maybe helped if he got a few more reps out there with that offensive line, because clearly the O-line's not that good. They seem like they're more like our O-line in a weird way. Much better at run blocking because they were able to run the ball effectively. But pass blocking, it didn't look very good. And then last year, their pass blocking wasn't very good. I mean, the quarterback play was atrocious too last season. But, still, That's a part of pass. That's still a part of the pass game.
1 second. Yeah, but the Aaron injury is exactly what you're talking about, man.
Yeah.
It's unpredictable. It's not like he took a hard hit. He got sacked, fell weird, and boom. But let's talk about that game, man. Obviously, Jets, Bills, Monday Night Football, 9-11, New York City, well, New Jersey, but two New York teams battling Aaron Rodgers' first Jets game.
It's a 10-minute taxi ride from Times Square, crazy enough.
So, New York City.
Yeah, it's New York. It's New York City.
Comes out with the American flag. It's beautiful. Jets revitalized. Hey, this is our year. We finally got our guy. Here we come. And 4 plays in, there we went. I'm not going to say the season's over for the Jets.
Super Bowl aspirations for sure.
But, yeah, Super Bowl aspirations are over. Aaron Rodgers is hurt. Now everybody wants to talk about, is Aaron retiring? Honestly, I don't even want to have that conversation because I think it's a bit disrespectful. The man's been hurt for 4 days. Like, can he have surgery first?
Is it disrespectful to talk about? I don't know if it's disrespectful. That in sports that everybody's always looking for, well, what's next? What's next? Like, all we can think about is
what's next for the season?
Overreacting to what happened in week 1 just in general. And, big pickup by Hurts. Look, he might be getting hurt right there, the way he got pulled down. But everybody's going to overreact to week 1. And that's just a part of the reaction because naturally you're already thinking about the Jets and their season, but then it still is just about the future in general of the team. Disrespectful? No. I won't say it's disrespectful. Is it just premature in general? Yes. But the speculation was going to be rampant on it because he is almost 40. It is an Achilles tear. We've got to see a few different athletes have this and who's came back. Now, obviously, more so in basketball than football. I can't even tell you how many football Achilles I can even remember. But we know a couple of notable players in basketball. Kevin Durant had it. He came back. Obviously, he's been he's been an injury-prone player himself for what it's worth, but it hasn't been his Achilles either. And Aaron Rodgers was somebody that was an injury-prone player to a degree. Aaron Rodgers has had quite a few injuries in his career, honestly.
Two broken collarbones.
Yeah, he had a leg injury once too. If you remember, he came back out and he beat the Bears that day on that Sunday night. Came back out throwing on one fucking leg, but they came back and won the game magically. But he's been an injury-prone player himself. And then, of course, the most notable Achilles injury was Kobe. Now, like I said, this is basketball, but Kobe's Achilles injury, he didn't come back from it because of how – he was 35 years old when he had it and was turning 36 before the start of that next season. Kobe went on to play 3 more years, and I don't think – maybe combined over those 3 years, he might have played a little over 82 games. But Kobe was never the same, right? And he's one of the all-time greats, just like Aaron Rodgers is. And it's not too premature because then you get to the point to – I think his Instagram post told us everything we needed to know. Sounds like he's going to come back. Yeah. Sounds like he's going to come back.
I think there are very few all-time greats who wanted to keep playing and are like, yeah, I'm out of here. Like, you think about Aaron's situation, right? First season out of Green Bay, first drive, boom, there it goes. There goes the Achilles. Aaron has something to prove, and he hasn't had the opportunity to prove that. So I didn't even think about him retiring. I'm like, no, he's coming back. He's going to play ball. But, hey, Zach Wilson stepped up, not really, kind of, sort of. The defense stepped up. The defense stepped up. The running game was great, and they ended up winning the game. So, shout out to the Jets for being
resilient.
1-0. Hey, but let's talk about the quarterbacks or what the Jets should do. Do you think the Jets should go out and look for another quarterback?
they definitely need to add another quarterback no matter what. I mean, I think that this week they're going to be good. I think is it Tom? It's something Boyle that was on the practice squad. That's going to be upgraded to backup. Yeah, and so I think that they've got to get something better than that backing him up, because here's the thing: Zach Wilson got benched twice last year, so things could get sideways, and it doesn't help that they're going to probably have a really ugly matchup on Sunday because they're going against a defense that just shut out the other New York team on the road. So I don't think that that's going to be your perfect backup. Yeah, is it okay to say that Zach Wilson is going to be the quarterback moving forward? Sure. Give him his confidence. You drafted him number 2 overall. It's been what, 3 years? So yeah, he should be the guy that gets the reps. He's been there for 2 years. He's had those reps. He should be the guy that you're saying is the guy going forward. But you do need an insurance policy, and you need a guy that potentially can mentor him, and that might be even a little bit better.
So I threw some names at you because, we're not going to give out hot-taking names. Looking at Tyrod Taylor, looking at Jacoby Brissett, you got your Andy Daltons of the world, you got your Jameis Winstons. Bring Sam back to New York. You got, Carl Carson, Mr. Wentz. Mr. Wentz is unemployed. You got Colt McCoy, unemployed. There are quarterbacks out there. Taylor Heineke, don't call about him because he's going to have a starting job soon. We'll get to that later. Do any of those names get you excited?
No, I think that if there's going to be somebody that you have to add, it would more than likely be Joe Flacco. Honestly, is the first person that comes to mind for 2 reasons. One, he was there last year. So there's familiarity with the roster, everything but the OC. There's pretty much familiarity there. 2, he is somebody that's won the Super Bowl, right?
Yeah.
And so
11 years ago.
Yeah, I know. But I'm just saying he's somebody that did play last season. He's got familiarity with the team. So he's one of the first names that comes to mind. Number 2, of course, Carson Wentz is going to come up because he's younger, but he's made of glass too. So that's kind of one of the bigger issues with him. He's made of glass, but he's got familiarity with, there's Eagles brass in there. So there's familiarity all the way around with him. And at least he's younger too. He's not an old man. And then the third person that will come to mind, everybody can say what they want to say, but I think Matt Ryan would be somebody that I would want to talk to too. And I get it. I think that the, offensive line, obviously, it was one of the biggest issues with the Colts last season. But I don't think that the Colts were nearly as talented on either side of the ball as the Jets are. And I just think that with Matt, you do have a guy that, if you look back at Matt last year, Matt carved up the Jaguars that won, their division. In the division that he was in, he carved them up. He had a game where he threw for 350 yards and 3 touchdowns, and that's without him being able to throw a 60-yard pass. So I think that Matt can do it, right? Is he the most ideal fit? No, but I would definitely call him and see if he has any interest. He's not that far removed from being a good quarterback.
No, he's not, and I'll say the one knock on Matabee, he's immobile, and they don't have a great offensive line, but the Colts couldn't run the ball last year.
Exactly.
Whereas
they couldn't run and they couldn't pass protect.
And the Jets, they did show the ability to run the ball. But there's one name you forgot about, Parlay Pete.
Go ahead.
Actually, there's 2. No, I actually got 3 that you forgot about. 1, Rob Griffin III. 2, Cam Newton. 3, Colin Kaepernick. Now, I got a few words about Colin Kaepernick, but before I do that, I'm going to take a double shot of some Green River Kentucky straight bourbon, okay?
Yeah, go ahead.
Because we got to cut the cap. We got to quit capping out here. Because capping ain't gonna get nobody nowhere.
I think that the cap thing is just so ridiculous. It's so unrealistic, and it's people that don't watch football that are talking about it. That are really saying that this is a real thing. I get the report of his agent reaching out, and of course, the talking heads and national people, they've got to talk about it. But the reality of anyone realistically thinking that Colin Kaepernick, after the last time Colin Kaepernick played in an NFL game, Kevin Durant was on the Thunder and Kobe Bryant was in his last season with the Lakers. Kobe Bryant's been dead for 3 years, and he's been before he had died, he had been retired for almost 5 years. So this is not a real conversation, is what I'm saying.
So let me for one, Colin Kaepernick, if you are paying an agent to represent you in football matters, fire him. You are taking money and you are setting it on fire. Colin Kaepernick having an agent is like putting, I don't know, 20 grand on the Jets to win the Super Bowl yesterday. It's just wasted money. You're not playing football anymore. I hear stories about Colin Kaepernick still getting up 4 or 5 a.m. to work out for his NFL dream. Stop. Sleep in. Rest. Just go get you a lift in when you wake up, man. Your football playing days are over. Now, if you want to go down to wherever you're living at, probably New York, and join a local men's flag league, they'll gladly take you. If you want to go join the XFL, the USFL, they'll gladly take you. But 7 years removed, you are no longer an NFL quarterback. This should not be a topic of conversation. This is only a conversation because it gets impressions, it gets clicks, it gets likes, it gets dislikes, it gets comments because people care about cap. But we got to cut the cap. Colin Kaepernick has no place in the NFL. Hey, let's remember, Colin Kaepernick sued the NFL and settled. Once you filed suit, your playing days were over. Once you filed that suit, you said, you know what, I'll never suit up in this league again.
And more importantly, I'm sorry to cut you off. More importantly, I don't care to play in the NFL anymore.
Exactly. So let's stop talking about it. You weren't good when you left the league. Like, you talk about blackball. Do I think Colin Kaepernick got blackballed? Yes. Do I think he was good enough for us to actually truly care about it? No, not really.
To be a backup,
in the moment, I did care. And I said he deserved to be in the league. Just like I said, Cam Newton deserves to be in the league. But guess what? There are not 60 quarterbacks better than Carson Wentz right now. And he's unemployed.
I agree.
There are not 60 quarterbacks better than Colt McCoy right now. He's unemployed.
I don't think there's 60 better than Cam Newton.
Oh, getting there. There's not 60 better than Cam Newton. He's unemployed. Hey, you know what? I'm going to throw Rob Griffin a little love here. When he left the league, he was good enough to possibly be a backup. But when you start talking about is somebody good enough to be a backup, we're talking about that's like a bar talking about what are we going to choose for our bottom shelf tequila, our house tequila. Are we going to go El Toro, or are we going to go Cuervo, or are we going to go, I don't know, cheap tequila because I don't drink it. But point being is, this isn't what makes the money. This is not our basic Don Julio, our Terramanas, our Patrons, and it's damn sure not our 1942s. It's not our Lobos Double Anejo. It's not our Clase Azul, right? We're not talking about Patrick Mahomes and them. We're talking about something that doesn't really make us much money. It doesn't change our bottom line. Yeah, it doesn't change wins and losses. So guess what? It doesn't really matter. So hey, for all you super fans who said y'all wasn't gonna watch the NFL till Cap came back, for one, y'all capping, cut the cap. For all you asking to give Colin Kaepernick a chance? No. You can't leave a profession, a young man's profession, a position that requires precision, accuracy, timing, work, film, chemistry, live bullets, and say 7 years, come back and do it. He's not going to be good if he comes back. It's going to take too much time for him to be good if he can still be good. And here's the thing. He'll get everybody in that building fired. No one's putting their job on the line for Colin Kaepernick. They didn't do it when he could have been good. So just cut the cap. Cap is over. Go do your docs, write your book, protest, grow your fro, do all the great things that you're doing off the field because you're never getting on the NFL field as a player. And last thing, maybe, just maybe, if you would have swallowed your pride and played in a lesser league and balled out and showed people who didn't know how serious you were about football, that you were committed to football, not just the NFL, you were committed to football, and that you want to be great at football, and you would do anything that you could do to prove that you were great at football, maybe you still be playing football. But now you're doing like me and Parlay Pete. You're doing what you got to do to pay your bills and enjoy your life, but you ain't getting paid to play. No NIL for you, buddy.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. I don't know. I wonder if Cap can bet on games. I'm sure he can, I guess. But either way, it's a useless conversation in a sense of he was never legitimately going to have a chance at playing in the NFL again for all the reasons that you name. But at the same time, I think that if anyone wants to look at Colin Kaepernick and say, oh, well, let's make him a legitimate option. Okay, let's break it down. All right, he hadn't played in 7 years. I think Steve DeBerg has the record for the longest layoff between playing football and not playing football. And I'm curious, you know who Steve DeBerg is, right?
Name rings a bell.
Steve DeBerg was a Falcons quarterback. He started some games for Chris Chandler the 98 season.
Okay.
He was 45 years old because before I think Tom Brady broke that record as the oldest starting quarterback ever. Steve DeBerg held it for a very long time. Vinny Testaverde didn't even have the record. And we know Vinny Testaverde was a guy that just felt like he just would never go away. Steve DeBerg came out of retirement, and I think that he hadn't played in 4 years, and Dan Reeves, put him in. And we actually won one of the games. He started 2 games that season and played for Chris Chandler, and we won one of the games. Now, look, hell, we went fucking 14-2. Excuse my language. We went 14-2, right, that season, but Steve DeBerg was able to win a game. Now, look, I'm breaking down somebody. All right, Cap, 7 years, Steve DeBerg, 4. All right, next. What did he do the last time he did play in the NFL? What was his last body of work? What did it look like? He went 1-10. He went 1-10. And the 49ers, I think, ended up, if they didn't have the number 1 pick that year, they certainly had the number 2 pick.
I think it was like 3 because because it was right before Kyle and Lynch came in, right?
Yes.
Yeah, because they told Cap.
Oh my God, he just put it on the deck. Tom Sula.
Did Tom Sula cut him, or was it
Well, he was with Chip, but I'm saying Tom Sula was the next year. But they went like 1-15. It's like
and Lynch was like, "Hey, bro, nah. Here's what we're gonna do. We're gonna cut you because we don't want to restructure your contract, and we don't want you here."
Right.
And here's one thing I'll say on that. I'll admit where I was wrong. I was rocking out with Cap then. Maybe it was because I was dumb. Maybe it was because I looked at the stats that were favorable for him because he had some favorable stats, and they were not a good team.
Yeah, his stats actually weren't bad. If you looked at him, he threw like 14 touchdowns, and he only had like 6 picks. So it wasn't like a terrible INT-TD ratio. The completion percentage wasn't great. It was like in the mid to low 50s. But the record, they didn't win football games. They were getting blown out. And that was a team that the year before with Jim Harbaugh was still 500. You know what I mean?
And here's the one thing, Parlay Pete. I'll never knock a man or woman for standing up for what they believe in. But with that comes consequences. And you can't shake the room. You can't shake the tree if you ain't got roots. Now, if you got roots, you can shake the hell out of that tree because it's on you. When you're independent, when you're a business owner, you can cut up. Elon Musk can do all types of wild stuff, but Elon owns the brand that is Elon, so Elon can still make moves. Can't nobody fire Elon.
Exactly.
What you can't do is you can't come in my house and tell me, hey, man, it's stinking here. Hey, I don't like where that mirror's at. Hey, man, you should use blue toilet cleaner instead of green toilet cleaner. I like to piss in blue toilets because I'm crippin', cuz. But hold on. What bills you pay in the house? You don't pay nothing. Oh, I pay you to come here? And you gonna tell me how? Nah, bro, you gotta go. So when you do what Colin Kaepernick did, is when it hurts. Kanye West is a prime example of somebody who stands up for what he believes in. Unlike Cap, Kanye's super talented, super profitable. So people put up with Kanye's quote unquote nonsense, the things they didn't like, because it still was beneficial to them. And then when they thought it wouldn't be beneficial to them, they cut ties with him, and then they realized Adidas said, whoa, hey, get this, we gotta fix this.
Yeah.
But Cap wasn't Kanye. Cap is, I don't know, name an artist who comes to the label but doesn't really do anything. Name a failed artist. I can't even think of a failed artist, but think of an artist who don't make no, you know what? Cap is Meek Mill. Cap is Meek fucking Mill. Meek Mill, an artist who was great at one, who had a good run, a big hit. Like Cap had that big game against the Packers. That's Meek dreams and nightmares. The Meek got upset with how he was being treated in the industry. And he wanted to change the whole thing. Like, these labels ain't letting me do this and this and that. All right, Meek, go away. So now Meek like releases his music on like SoundCloud. I don't know where he releases his music, but he's not releasing on DSPs in protest of the industry. And guess what? We don't even think about Meek Mill as an artist, man. We think about him as a do-boy, a cuck to goes on at the what's his name part, the Michael
Rubin's house, right? Yeah.
Rubbing tugs, right? That's what we think about Meek.
It's a little bit more than rubbing tugs.
I said Robert Kraft rubbing tug parties.
Oh, yeah. Maybe with Rob, that's what they're doing. But at Rubin's house, they're doing a little bit more than that.
Yeah, they're doing blowing hookers.
I think Meek's doing a little bit more than that. But because that doesn't make that does not make any sense. I'm telling you. It makes no sense.
Doesn't. Hey, do you like that Cap is Meek? I freestyled that.
I think that's a good one. I think that's a fair rap to league comparison. I mean, I know we get them all the time, right? It's pretty sad. Jalen Hurts just threw an interception, by the way, after his
bad one.
Yeah, it was. He was a throwaway just like Cap at that point. But
and Josh Hosey, he jumped out early and drafted him.
I know he drafted him. I think if it wasn't the second, it was definitely the third round. He was the first quarterback taken, and Josh thought that all of us were going to be like, "Oh," but we were all more like, "What a dumbass pick." I mean, this was the equivalent of you taking Gus Edwards. Well, I tell you what, I won't knock him down that bad because that was just as bad as it was going to ever get. But it was pretty bad. I didn't like the pick regardless. So.
Are we done talking about Cap? Can we talk about?
Let's move on from Cap. We're taking too much. Cap doesn't deserve our time like that.
Josh Allen. Hey man, you sucked. You came out and you took accountability for your mistakes. Cool. I listened to Cowherd talk about it, and he's giving Josh Allen Bell, talking about Sean McDermott, defensive coach, not developing the O-line, not developing the run game, all of that nonsense. Nah, bro. I'm not shooting Josh Allen Bell because he got the big contract. If he was still on the rookie deal, if he was getting paid $30 million a year, yeah, we could talk about him needing better pieces around him, needing better coaching around him. And don't get me wrong, players need good coaches. Players need good pieces. But when you decide to make your quarterback the highest paid quarterback in the league at the time, give him those big deal contracts, he's got to elevate stuff. You are choosing him over pieces. So when you choose him over pieces, he has to step up. 3 picks, 1 fumble, 4 turnovers is never acceptable. I don't care if you're a rookie quarterback. I don't care if you're a JV backup quarterback playing on Friday night under the lights in Texas, Georgia, Florida, Alabama, California. I don't care at what level you're playing football on. I don't care what your expectations are. 4 turnovers is never the right answer unless you're a defender. But as a quarterback, 4 turnovers is never the right answer. And there's not an excuse in the book, whether it's coaching, whether it's talent around you, that I'm going to hear. But I came on here. I've been on here for years saying Josh Allen is not who they say he is. He is who I said he was. Highly talented. Nice body. Nice prototype. Has all the skills in the world. But he's not him. Stop putting him in conversations with Patrick Mahomes. Don't put him in conversations with Joe Burrow. I don't know about Jalen Hurts because the way he's looking right now, they might be the same conversation.
Well, this game, it's a good thing that we're even still going at this, obviously doing it even during this game. This game looks like it does fucking suck.
Yeah, it's Thursday night.
That didn't work for me. Alexander Madison, my running back, one of RB2 in fantasy. He just fumbled, so that wasn't a very good it's not very good for me. But
Josh Allen is more – Josh Allen is Cam Newton light. You want to compare him to Big Ben? You want to compare – no. He's Cam Newton light.
They are – no, I like the Cam Newton Ben Roethlisberger. I think it's a mixture. It really is a mixture. No, he's white either. It's just because the way he –
Cam and Ben.
Yes. Yeah.
Light,
and,
but he's light.
And Ben wasn't absolved of turning the ball over. And we're not talking about Ben's last season either. We're talking throughout Ben's career.
Wow.
Ben turned the ball over too. Like, I think his running ability obviously is more Cam Newton than Ben could run in his early day. He would run a little. He wasn't even running like that. Josh Allen plays so reckless, and that's one of the things that, if you remember, I can remember the first time that I thought Josh Allen was going to be good, and it was in that Texans playoff game. They played the Texans.
They're going to get Jalen Hurts killed out here.
You might be ahead of me. What are you? I see 3rd and 5.
Okay, watch 3rd and 5, and you'll see what I'm saying. Hey guys, we'll tell you. Like last week, we got recording before the game started for this very reason. It is not going to be the most coherent show because we're watching the game while recording.
Yeah. That's Philly looks like they blow a little, but you know what? We expected this step back too. Yeah. Not to cut into our conversation or anything, but we kind of did expect this to happen. and it's similar in a weird way. It's similar. I think you were a little bit more on the bandwagon of the Bills sucking, like you not liking. Like I still had the Bills as a playoff team, but I did have them finish at 3rd in the division. I just believe that they're going to have 3 teams in the playoff. And that was obviously before the Aaron Rodgers thing. And the Jets can. Oh, did they just miss the field goal too?
Yeah, they did.
What a sloppy first quarter of football this has been. We're talking about a pick, a fumble, by the
See,
running
like
back.
3 fumbles.
Yeah, it's been ugly.
You know, I think these guys on Thursday wake up and say, how can we get Al Michaels off TV?
Why do you think that they say that?
He's a little old. You know, I don't hate Al. But I think they go, how can we get Herb Street back to Saturday and Al Michaels to retire? We're going to keep playing terrible football on Thursdays.
Well,
Let's get back into Josh Allen.
But you want to know what it is? Let's blame the NFL, too, for this in a weird way. As much as we love this, it's bad for the players and it's bad for the product, just in a sense of we're not going to get quality football out of guys that just played their first game Sunday and they already are playing again on Thursday. That's 2 games in 1 week is what it is. And is it really worth those extra 3 days worth of rest for the following game the very next week? Is it really? And look, this will be something we can talk about throughout the season because we're going to continue to get sloppy Thursday night games. When's the last time you said, man, this Thursday night, outside of a season opener, when's the last time you sat up and said, man, this Thursday night game is kicking ass? I love this. And they're giving Al Michaels has got to talk through it, and then they've got to add in Kirk Herbstreit to talk about it.
And Kirk Herbstreit doesn't know the NFL.
No, he doesn't. He's out here pointing out the guys. He's like Jordan Addison out of USC. I mean, what a terrific player. You know, he's giving you those type of comments because that's what it is that he's going to talk about throughout the game. The first round picks. You know, he's like Jalen Carter. Look at him right there in the inside. He's lined up in a 3 position, and watch how he just ducks through here. And then it's not even him that makes the play. It'll be like Hassan Reddick that makes the tackle.
Well, he doesn't know Hassan Reddick because Hassan Reddick's too far removed from college football.
Yeah, but Jalen Carter, look at that 3 technique.
you saw American Gangster, right?
Yeah, of course.
You remember when Frank Lucas went up to old boy and was like, hey, this ain't blue magic. Don't be calling this blue magic. If you're going to step on it, whatever, you don't call it blue magic because blue magic has
He said you can call it blue dog shit for all I care. He said, but this is my brand.
And somebody with the NFL needs to go and talk to Goodell and say, hey, this Thursday night shit is not NFL. You can call it the Football League of America. You can call it the National League of Football.
Oh, my God. Did you just see that, too?
Yeah, I did. But this right here is not NFL football. Thursdays are reserved for the freshman and JV team at 4:30 and 6 o'clock.
Right. I hate to say it in a weird way. You might as well put the worst teams on Thursday night. That way everybody gets a primetime game. Let's start there. If you're going to continue to do Thursday night football, everybody gets a primetime game. And then, you know, we can at least watch bad football instead. Like it can be a bad football game.
But we watch good teams play bad games. Hey, you remember when they first started this Thursday night football thing? They would only do division games because the teams needed less prep time because they actually knew their opponents a little bit.
Yeah, I know it was a majority. Well, yes, yeah.
The opener was its own thing. Then it was division games. But, you know, pigs get fed, hogs get slaughtered. And NFL is turning hogs right now, man. Like, you're giving us so much product, but you're not giving us high-end product.
Yeah, it's McDonald's. And look, McDonald's, largest restaurant in the world, literally. McDonald's is the largest restaurant in the world. They're everywhere. But what is it? You know, it's food that's not good for you. It can be good sometimes. Like, it can taste good. Like, it can taste good if we get a good game on the screen. But for the most part, it's not good for you. It's not good for the product. It's not good for the players. It's not good for anyone but the pockets of the owners in reality. We might get 1 week where we get a good Thursday night game. Hell, you remember last year we got that Russell Wilson, Matt Ryan duel. These are guys that face off in the playoffs a couple times. And what did we get out of that? We got maybe one of the worst football games I've ever seen.
Something.
It was a matter of, man, who doesn't turn the ball over first is going to win the game. That's what it turned into.
Hey, Parlay Pete.
Matt Ryan prevailed, by the way.
Hey, Parlay Pete. I'll be up there Saturday, right?
Mm-hmm. Is it your family again? Or what? How's that going to work?
Nah, I'm too much by myself.
Okay.
Do you think we'll go eat McDonald's on Saturday?
I would say the likelihood is a hell no. But
like, I mean, let's think about it.
Really late and we're hungry. I've got food here, but if that's the case, it's very unlikely. It's very unlikely. Yeah.
Late, hammered, and hungry. How many things have to go wrong for us to go to McDonald's?
1, it's got to be open. 2, we've got to be driving. 3, they've got to be. Yeah, they've got to be. Because think about it, McDonald's ain't even 24 hours. Crazy enough. Like a lot of them aren't for whatever reason. But either way, we've got to be really hungry. We have to be in our cars because think about it, we're not going to get in an Uber until the Uber driver gets on, right? A lot of things have got to go wrong. I've got to say, man, I don't want to warm up a frozen pizza. Like I don't have anything to eat at the house. We didn't get food beforehand. I mean, there would have to be a lot of different things that go into, man, let's go to McDonald's. And I tell you, it gets even worse if you've got to order McDonald's. I would never make delivery some French fries to my house.
Bro, it's the worst. I've done it.
Why would I do that? But why would I do that?
I've done it, and it's terrible. It's like, why did I just order 2 burgers? Because I can't eat these fries.
Yeah. Well, and then the burgers probably aren't even going to be hot. You might have to throw them in for at least 10 seconds. Something to give it just a little bit more warmth because you're like, man, this is not hot. And then make sure too, don't get a burger that's got lettuce or something on it. Don't get a Big Mac or something like that.
Oh no,
now your lettuce is hot. And it's like,
oh golly, pick chicken nuggets at your own peril, man. Like that, bro.
Yeah.
Anyways. Do we have anything else about these buffs, the Bills or Aaron Rodgers or Colin Kaepernick or the Jets?
No, man, we've got so much more season to go on. I think let's wait and see. Josh Allen, he's been a turnover machine, but let's wait and see. Obviously, I think the Bills, they've been a good team regardless of his turnovers. I think that they'll end up bouncing back, and we'll get to that once we get to the picks. But they'll bounce back. The Colin Kaepernick thing was never a story, and Aaron Rodgers, in terms of next season, we'll just have to wait and see.
Oh, one quick thing. This podcast loves Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. We love them.
Yes, best. They're the best duo in the league.
I mean, I don't think it's a conversation. But here's one thing that I didn't like. And this happened in the Thursday game that we didn't talk about. And we can hit that quickly because we got 7 minutes to close out the hour. Joe Buck calling an asterisk on the missed penalty. Joe's better than that. Most fan bases don't like Joe Buck because he's not a homer in football. I can't speak to him calling a St. Louis Cardinals game. But he's not a homer. He calls it, pretty straight up and down. And him throwing an asterisk piece in there is like, Joe, this is why the fuck Joe Buck shit actually trends at times on Twitter, man.
Yeah.
Say something stupid like this. Refs miss calls all the time. Those guys wanted to go home, for one. They didn't want to keep watching Zach Wilson not be good and Josh Allen turn the ball over. It's like, hey, man, let's wrap this thing up. We came here for A-Rod. But again, more importantly, refs miss calls. So we can't put an asterisk on a game because the ref missed a call.
It was egregious. It seemed like he was doing it a lot based on the way that they counted. It could have – it doesn't mean you put an asterisk on it, but, it would have been a lot of false start calls based on they showed him in multiple, a lot of frames.
Hold on, which game are you talking about?
We're talking about the Chiefs game. No.
We're talking about there was a tripping call on the punt return, and Joe put an asterisk on that. Now we shift to that Chiefs-Lions game, and Tarico
happened now. Well, Tarico put an asterisk on it.
He put an asterisk on it
too, but he said like the same thing,
and that was horse shit.
I'm just saying, we can't do it. The game got played. Imperfections happen. It's just like with baseball, right? Like there are going to be strike calls that are balls. There are going to be ball calls that are strikes. It's an imperfect game. We're human, and so unless you want to get robot,
hey,
refs and umpires. I know we got robot fans finally, or AI. I'm sorry. I don't even want to call it robot anymore. It's AI. It's artificial intelligence. But they're
Hey, how weird was that AI fan? Should I get that the Chargers don't have fans? But
that was the biggest takeaway I took away from it more than anything is that, man, that this could be a real thing. And I think they're trying to warm people up to the idea that as if Hollywood hasn't made so many movies on this stuff where we've already got to see how this could just go so wrong. And I get it. It's so cool to be like, wow, that's crazy. Kind of looks like a real person outside of the metal coming out the back of their head.
Hey, man, we're both season ticket holders, right?
Yeah.
Do we want to mingle with AI? Or do we want to mingle with the people?
We want to mingle with the people.
Like, I enjoy sitting in my section. Hey, you hit.
Oh, TJ Hawkinson?
Yes, sir.
What did I tell you, brother?
Hey, I told you it was a good bet.
What did I tell you? I love TJ Hawkinson at those odds. It sucks that I can't put like those type of bets. I thought about changing up to where the 6-pack we start changing it. And I think I've done it kind of before, but to where literally I go down and I give you the best 6 picks, including stuff like this where there's, player props that you can add in. But I know that a lot of betting, they don't do it. They don't do it to where you can player prop with game. Like there's a lot of weird stuff. But the TJ Hawkinson touchdown, I loved it from the get-go. I really did.
You said plus 225, right?
Yeah. TJ Hawkinson.
Hey. Get paid. Anyways, I don't like the asterisk because the game's not perfect. Really quickly, do we take anything significant away from the Lions beating the Chiefs? Honestly, I think the Chiefs are a better team than the Lions. The Chiefs had drops, didn't have Travis Kelce, didn't have Chris Jones. They're both back this week. Chiefs are going to be 12-5.
I'm with you. I think that the Chiefs are better. They're better. They didn't have their best defensive player, and they didn't have their best offensive skill position player. So, at the end of the day, I guess, is tight end considered a skill position player?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, they didn't have their 2 best skill position players. Their best skill position player. And then let's throw this caveat in there too. Kadarius Toney absolutely blew the game. I mean,
yeah, like
that was a wide receiver performance. A wide receiver should never affect the game that badly, and he did.
No, he had a pick. Yeah, he dropped a pass that was a pick 6.
It's not just a pick 6. It was key third downs. It was a lot of stuff. I mean, it was a lot of stuff. It wasn't just that pick 6 play.
He wasn't good. Had a bad game. Hope Holsey's okay over there.
Yeah, I was about to troll him. I was about to tell him. Looks like we got a baby Kyle sighting. Okay.
I don't see those things.
No, Jew just put it in the group.
Oh, yeah. She's in D.C., huh?
Yeah. And Dale said Jew is making moves in all caps. He's funny. But
check your text in a second.
Okay. But I guess what? Actually, look, we're actually kind of wrapping this up perfectly. Look where we're at in time.
Because hey, that's hour 1. Hour 1's over. It's time to get in hour 2.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the piss out of this football.
Hey, I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football. Time to get something going. I got you.
Go ahead, cue it up. Come on.
We are all here to do what Falcons do. Look at that.
Hey, man, real quick, let me tell you about the assholes in my section. I showed up no less than 2 minutes after kickoff. They took my flag. Both seats, they took my flag.
I got mine at the front when we walked in.
Well, I got caught up at that bar getting very cheap drinks poured very heavily. And you know how that goes.
Yeah. I'm just saying, ours were, you know what's funny? We never even sat in our seats. But of course, you know how
you
we
never
sit
sit in your seats, though.
Sometimes we do, but like, no, like I didn't even like it, you know, especially first game of the year, you're saying hello to everybody again. You're catching
man.
up. It's a lot of small talk, a lot of Falcons ball talk, a lot of, you know, just a lot going on down there in the club. But
and see, that's what I was doing in my section, man. You know, I was regrouping with all my guys, you know, the people from the section. And maybe this comes from a place of privilege and shit that other people don't understand. But it's something about the bonds you build with the people who you watch the games with every other week.
Mm-hmm.
Like, you look forward to seeing those people. And it really sucks. I mean, you don't sit in your seats, you go to the club, but it sucks when the season starts to get bad and the people you like in your section sell their seats. You're like, damn, this motherfucker sold his seats this week.
Right.
But no, it was. Hey, man, we're 1-0, and like Arthur Smith said, man, we're gonna run the piss out of the ball.
And we did just that.
Where do you want to go with this game?
This is what I'll say. One of my biggest takeaways: we won the football game. That was the biggest takeaway. We won the football game. Not only did we win, we covered. We won by 2 scores, 2 touchdowns at that. Not just 2 scores, 2 touchdowns. So I marked 2 touchdowns as a convincing win. And it's weird because in the first half, we didn't look fantastic on offense or anything. I think the Tyler Algier jolt of energy, it felt like he was getting 10 yards a carry. It really did. And I know because everybody wanted Bijan to be the one that did it. But it was like, no, this same guy that was hammering away last year, he came back out. He knew that he essentially got demoted the day that Bijan got drafted. But he said, I'm still going to be an important part of this team. I'm still going to be doing it. Big shout outs to Tyler Algier because I don't even know how you take that. Like, you're a 6th-round pick. You weren't expected to do that much to begin with coming into last year. You not only overachieved, but you have 1,000 yards as a rookie. You're like the second Falcon to ever do it. You looked really good. You didn't even start in like your first 5 games last year. And you come out, you run the piss out of the ball. You play the brand of football that Arthur Smith talks about. What he preaches about what we're going to do. Like, he did it. He embodied it. And he was rewarded for it with his 2 touchdowns and 70+ yards as the backup running back. So,
but I think that's why he was okay, why his psyche was good. Because I think Arthur said, hey, man, we're still going to run you. We're not forgetting about those 1,000 yards you gave us. We're going to run the piss out of the ball. You, Bijan, CP. We're diversifying all
this week, by the way.
And there may have been a conversation of like, hey, Dez is dog shit. So you're gonna get the carries.
Running plays. You're gonna get plenty of tread. Trust me.
And that's the way we're gonna build our offense. So the running game was impressive. Jesse Bates did what we wanted him to do, pick the ball off, make big plays. Our pass rush existed. You know, here's the thing that we haven't seen in Atlanta in years is a pass rush and picks. And Sunday we got a pass rush and we got picks.
Yeah.
And sacks, great, cool. I care less about sacks. I care more about pressures, right? Because the pressures force the bad passes and they speak to the consistency in which your pass rush is working. And that's what we had, man. We had two of our linemen in the top 10 in pressure rate. I think that was the PFF stat.
Two interior linemen.
Yep.
Yeah. And look, we knew Grady Jarrett was gonna bring the heat.
Yeah.
That was expected. But I'd be forgetting my man's name. Not Anyanata. Yeah, that is his name. That's who the other guy was. New guy from the Saints, familiar with Nielsen's defense. I liked what I saw. I saw a physical defense that was opportunistic, obviously. Jesse Bates, playmaker. 3 turnovers for him alone. Bro. Now, I don't expect him to do that every game, but DPOY. Seriously, if the Falcons defense can end up ranked 10th in the top 10, and he has 6-7 picks, 4 or 5 forced fumbles, 78 tackles. Why? Well, look, Michael Parsons, I know he's the front runner. I know that's who we both think is going to win. Him and Myles Garrett are kind of like, the runaway favorites, but what a dark horse he would be in reality if this defense can continue to do what it does. I think that I love the fact that they had a bunch of mixed coverages. I think that Bryce Young, granted, rookie, but I think that Bryce Young was genuinely confused out there, and there was nothing that Frank Reich could do about it either. We showed so many different looks. There are a lot of different packages. I like the Calais Campbell ad, of course. I think that he can be the equivalent to what Dwight Freeney was on our Super Bowl team, to where not only is he productive, but obviously the veteran presence to go along with it. I loved what I saw out of the defense. And I think that this week, granted, Jordan Love, I'm not surprised Jordan Love did what he did to the Bears specifically. And obviously, I told you, I just have been a big Jordan Love guy. I said that was who, if Aaron Rodgers did go back to Green Bay, I said, well, why don't we just make a play for him? Because he sat behind him for 3 years, and everybody's like, well, that's what the Zach Wilson thing is going to be with the Jets. He gets to sit behind him probably 2 years, and then Zach Wilson can be decent. And it's just like, but Jordan Love just did it. Aaron Rodgers did it to Brett Favre. It's just like, why did anyone expect him to not be, like, good? I don't know. I expected him to be good. They traded up for him. And Green Bay does a good job of doing that type of stuff. I just expected him to kind of do what he did on Sunday. I really did. But
I listened to Daniel Jeremiah talk about Bryce Young. He broke down the game a little bit. And we love Daniel Jeremiah. Like he
was so good on Rich Eisen. Did you get?
He was. Yeah, I did. Yeah, like as soon as you sent it to me, I watched it.
Yeah, it was good. He was good.
But he talked about Bryce on his 2 picks to Jesse Bates making Saturday throws that you can't make on Sunday, and that from his breakdown of the film, that Jesse knew, like, once Jesse saw the route combo, he like baited it. It's like, hey, rookie, you ain't there yet. You know what I mean? And that's what it turned into, So Bryce has some learning to do, but as Falcons fans, bro, we're not used to that. We're not used to, hey, it's week 1 and our safety's getting us 2 picks, like 2 real picks, not like some Fugazi ass picks where bobbled ball.
He threw it straight to him.
Yeah, like you confused the quarterback and you forced this throw, and we got it. So it was nice to see. I liked what the defense did against a bad team, against a rookie quarterback. I like what the running game looked like. But hey, man, let's talk about 15 of 18 for 115 yards. Let's talk about no catches by Drake London. Let's talk about minimal catches by Kyle Pitts. Let's talk
for what it really is. 1 real catch. Because that was about a 30-yard. That was Dez's biggest play of the game.
Let's talk about a guy who just won't let it rep. Let's talk about a guy who appears to be trying to not do things wrong instead of doing things right. Let's talk about a guy who we didn't believe in before. Let's talk about a dismissed Dez. Get rid of Ritter. Hey, we won the game despite Desmond Ritter, which is what we expected coming into the season. 15 for 18 for 115 yards is just unacceptable. That's a really good running game.
It was a really good running game, and a lot of those passes were to the running backs, obviously. He's going to ultimately – you know what's weird? We kind of knew – is this him having a pulse? I don't know. I don't think so. I think that it was the first game of the year and we went against a rookie quarterback. So I can't judge it yet. Green Bay doesn't have a bad defense. So I think that this week we can – we can break it down a little bit better and have a better understanding of this guy. But we said if he had a pulse that we would win 10 games. And the offense dictated that by, I wish we could have got to 30, but 24 is fine. We played a good defense. The Panthers don't have a bad defense. I mean, Brian Burns was back there all night. That touchdown for Jalen Hurts is such a guarantee too. But anyway,
they should run that on 2-point conversions.
I don't see why they don't in a weird way, oddly enough. But I think that ultimately Dez, if I had to grade him out, I'll give him a C-. And the reason why is because, like you said, outside of that one pass to Pitts, I mean, gosh, what about – nothing but dink and dunk. Everybody was putting up, and I hate these BR – I'm so mad that Bleacher Report put it up. But ESPN put up a stat too. They did the interception ratio since last season, and he had a 0.0.
Who gives a shit? He doesn't throw the ball.
Well, it's just like, well, goddamn, guys, let's go ahead and just give the Falcons the Super Bowl this year because that's what you're trying to put out there. And I get it. People like Josh Allen threw 3 interceptions, right? Like there are guys throwing picks. It's because they're actually fucking playing. They're taking a chance. Meanwhile, Arthur Smith is – I'm not going to say he's coddling Ritter or Ritter's maybe coddling himself. Maybe those – it seemed like the game plan was surrounded by not throwing the ball, which we knew to run the piss out of the ball. We know what this is going to be. It just is just kind of disappointing to see that, wow, people talked about the preseason game and how he went 7 of 8 for 90 yards on that one drive. He threw a pick in the end zone or whatever, and it wasn't his fault. Like it was like a tip ball or something. And, I just wish that we could see him throw the ball so that we can just really get to grade this guy out. But all I saw was dink and dunk. And maybe it's limitations in the pass protection. I don't know. We didn't have CP, and I'm not saying CP is the biggest difference maker in the world, but he wasn't out on the field either. And I just wish that we could see more. I mean, anyone that took Drake London and Kyle Pitts in fantasy football is going to be pissed as shit because I think the aspect of it is that Ritter will throw the ball 25 times a game. He maybe can get over 200 yards. I mean, Mariota had a couple 200-yard games last year, and he's a better runner than Ritter. So
Mariota, he would uncork it. It may not be accurate, but he would uncork it.
Yeah, he give you 1 or 2 a game where you're like, okay, I see what you were trying to do there.
Now he's going to throw 1 to the sideline. It's going to it might go.
He might try to throw it off his back too.
But here's my thing about anyone who drafted. Is he at the bar?
Yeah, he is.
Yeah, I saw the video. I didn't watch it. Typical Josh Holsey nonsense.
Well, and I don't even have the sound on. I can only imagine what's going on in the background.
You want me to play it?
Here. Yeah, go ahead, please. I knew they'd be singing this dumbass song. Turn it off. Yeah, thank you.
Holsey slurring.
Well, he's slurring because his team scored a touchdown finally right before the half, but it won't mean anything if these boys go down and put points on the board themselves.
But back to the Falcons real quick. If you drafted Kyle Pitts and Drake London, I'll tell you that you don't watch Falcons football. And more power to you. Arthur Smith.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the piss out of this football. Hey, I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football. Time to get something going. I got you.
Don't you love it, though?
Yeah, I absolutely love it because I think it's going to work. And I think that we're going to be able to control a lot of games, and it's going to keep us in games. And it's not going to expose what we think Dez is or what he isn't. But unfortunately, he might turn into San Fran James Garoppolo. And your brother dropped that meme in talking about people praise Garoppolo for winning and not having great numbers. This podcast never done that.
Well, James also does this. James still will give you 250. He'll give you 200 to 250 every game, a touchdown or two passing, and he might have a pick. That's like his stat line. That is his stat line as a quarterback. Because he can throw the ball 30 times a game.
James will throw a bad pick because he tried to make a big play. Desmond acts like if he throws a pick, his career is over. And we don't need that. We need somebody who's going to sling it.
Well, it's because he might not believe in himself. That could be why, because his career really might be over.
Well, fuck it. I'm calling for Heineken. I don't drink Heinekens, but I'm ready for Heineken.
It's Heineke time, huh?
Josh Halsey says, I said, Halsey, you saw it?
Yeah, you don't have to click on it, but you'll have like the notification. I see it. I see what he said.
Yeah, I don't get those notifications. Sunday. Anything else from the Sunday slate you want to talk about? You got. I really want to call. Who?
We got to talk about Tua. Here, actually, matter of fact, we can just quickly run down most of the games.
Well, I wanted to call a Steelers fan to hear how
right now it looks like.
I'm still gonna see. Let's see if he answers.
Go ahead.
I mean, whatever he's doing, it's not. Well, I don't know.
Who knows? I doubt it, but who knows?
Wouldn't be a bad idea, though.
Yo.
Hey, Mr. Turner, you are live on the podcast with AC Lee and Parlay Pete. As a Steelers fan who got butt fucked this week, how do you feel about your season moving forward?
First off, I would say hello, gentlemen. I appreciate you guys calling me. And I hope everything's going well with you guys. Just very quickly, what we saw this weekend is what Steelers fans have been seeing and been saying for years now. And what you guys just happened to see was actually on the field. It's no secret. I think we're in the bottom third of the NFL. I think the NFL rankings just came out. I think we're like number 20. There's 32 teams, so like technically we should be lower than that.
Was that before or after the Falcons? I'm just curious.
Oh, it was already before, but now it's more egregious. Now it's evident. Now we can't hide behind preseason games and our quarterback making throws as if that it means something. It was the preseason. I'm glad people are now seeing what the preseason is not indicative of the regular season.
Now, I'm hearing you out, Mr. Turner, and we appreciate you for answering the call and being very candid here on the AC Lee and Parlay Pete podcast show. But this is just a real question that I have for you. Now, what would make you want to bet somebody on a football game against the 49ers? What would give you the courage? Was it liquid courage? I mean, what was it?
I couldn't hear. Lee, can you ask the question, please? I think he's trying to talk to me to the computer. I can barely hear him.
He was pretty much saying, what would make you bet on the Steelers against the 49ers? Was it liquid courage or was it just a courage?
You know what? I think part of it was an emotional bet. They're my team, so I want to root for them, especially come out of the gate. So I saw it as a 50-50 shot. I mean, and truth be told, the line was like 2.5. So it wasn't as if they believed in the 49ers either. What I didn't account for was that the 49ers have one of the top 3, if not the best defenses in the league. In that defense alone, with a shaky offense, a rookie QB, and a coordinator who deserves to be in Pop Warner, I mean, they look like superstars.
Yeah, we gotta get Matt Campbell out of there. He needs to go back up.
Oh yeah, Matt Campbell. He's the worst. He's the worst offensive coordinator in the league. And the fact that we have held on to him for this long is it's a slap in the face to any Steelers fan.
Hey, Julian, how would you feel
Mhm.
about bringing Todd Haley back?
I didn't think Todd Haley should have went. Todd Haley left because
Ben
was on the ego trip and didn't get along with him. But if you guys remember, under Todd Haley, Big Ben's career as a passer was the best it's ever been, even in his prime.
Didn't he throw for
He
like
led the league.
5K?
He led the league in passing
Yeah, no.
under Todd Haley.
I think it's a travesty that Todd Haley is not in the NFL calling plays right now. He is one of the best offensive coordinators of my lifetime.
I mean, and again, I've been on the record here before saying it's time for Mike Tomlin to go. This is what you saw was Mike Tomlin, a team that talks well, dresses well, prepares well, or appears to prepare well. You know when you're doing a group project and teachers like, you guys got any questions? Like, no, I got it. I'm doing really good. Can I get an old fashioned, please? I think the house bourbon. Yeah.
Hey, let them know what we're drinking. 7% house bourbon.
Sorry, guys, drinking my sorrows away.
That's okay. We're drinking celebratory $100 bills over here.
Yeah, I'm drinking Green River right here. I'm drinking mine on the rocks though. I mean, excuse me, I drink mine neat. I like it neck. I don't need none of
Go
that.
ahead and ask. You could ask Mr. Turner what he thinks I did with that $100 bill.
Probably wiped your ass with it.
No, I'm just sipping
What
a
else
little
you
bit.
did with that $100?
Yeah.
Oh, he probably spent it as soon as he got it on either on liquor or on another parlay.
No. Well, yeah, just like he's drinking his celebratory one. Tell him that bottle of Whistle Pig's about $100.
That $100 didn't last 20 minutes.
Nah, he says bottle of Whistle Pig. It tastes good. Hey, real quick, Mr. Turner. I think it's funny that within our group, when we make like intergroup bets, nobody puts that money to good use. It's all about taking your friend's money and blowing it on something.
Doing whatever you want to do with it, yeah, because it's yours at that point.
It's fuck you money, and the fuck you is to the person who gave it to you.
Yeah, it's almost like, here, man, take it, just take it.
Well, the cherry on top was that I whipped his ass in fantasy to go along with it. Almost a 100-point victory.
And if you guys want a free pick for next week, Cleveland spread.
So you're taking them on the 2.5.
Cleveland spread. Matter of fact, I take the Cleveland minus 4.5. Minus 4.5. Might as well up it up. We're not going to score.
Mr. Turner said take the alternative line for some better odds. That's how you feel about the Steelers.
Yeah, we're not going to score. If you guys saw that offense that I saw, first of all, I didn't see an offense one, but yeah, we're not going to score.
Yeah, man. As much as I like what Tomlin does, I think that his inability to get the offense right. I know he's a defensive guy, but the offense isn't right, and the team is continuing to underachieve, even though they do better than most. If I was sitting like you as a Steelers fan, a fan of a team who actually wins championships, my feelings would begin to feel like yours are. But I'm a Falcons fan, and we just want to be, we're above 500 for the first time since 2017. So, yeah, at the
end of the day, it's just time for Mike Tomlin to go. It's time for him to go. And it's not a bad thing. He's been there for 15 years. I mean, he's lasted more than most coaches. I mean, he's seen more coaches in and out of the league than probably more than anybody besides him and Bill Belichick,
Shit. Andy Reid's been fired since Mike Tomlin's been coaching. So, those are the three guys who have been coaching in their spots for the longest. And shit, he saw a firing, and you got Sean Payton, who didn't get fired, but he left because he was fed up.
You've also look at Kirk Cousins trying to air it out and overthrow him to nobody.
Bro, didn't he look like Marcus Mariota right there throwing the ball to absolutely nobody? It was so bad.
Absolutely nobody.
It was so bad it didn't get picked off.
Yeah. Well, guys, I know it's no surprise to you. I'm with the young lady right now, and I don't want to be rude.
Oh, yeah, no, you get back to what you're doing. We just wanted just a quick hit from a distressed Steelers fan.
Oh yeah, listen, hey, the Steelers season is in the dumps. We're not going to make the playoffs. We're not going above 500. Mike Tomlin is now being exposed for the inept coach that he's been for the last 8 years.
Hey, that's Julian Turner, guys. Thanks, man. We'll talk.
Ooh.
Oh man, you gotta love it. You gotta love when Julian Turner calls in and comes and talks that good noise. But hey, man, while we wait for Parlay Pete to come back, man, we'll hit some more of the slate. I'm gonna talk about the Denver game, right? Denver lost to James Garoppolo and the Raiders. What was the score, like 16-17, 15-16, low scoring game. I'll tell you this, Sean Payton told me everything that I needed to know about that team with the way he started the game. Score 17-16. You know, the Broncos would have won X amount of games if they would have scored 18 points, and guess what? They keep it up. They keep losing those games and not scoring 18 points. He starts the game with an onside kick. When you start the game with an onside kick, that leads me to believe that you don't believe in your defense and you don't believe in your quarterback because you are trying to get cheap points and cheap field position. And Russ's contract hasn't kicked in yet. It kicks in next year. He's at like 35 right now. He'll go up to 50, 52, I think. But when you do something so extreme, like onside kick, 5% chance of converting. Now, it's a higher percent chance of converting when it's unexpected. It's closer to like 40%, I believe. But nonetheless, the play was called right. Had they not touched the ball early, they get it back and they got the ball. But what that right there tells me is you don't believe that your team can go make a stop on a limited quarterback, a team with a running back who didn't participate in training camp or the preseason, make a stop, even though your defense is supposed to be amazing. And so you're gonna run onside kick, try to get a quick advantage. Or maybe it tells me that Sean Payton wants to show how big his balls are, how important he is, and how, you know, he's smarter than everyone in the room. I don't know. Maybe there's a battle of egos in Denver. And I don't know which one. I do know which one wins out of Sean Payton. But yes, Russell Wilson had a good box score. We pull up the box score. Russell Wilson, he was, let me see. Russell Wilson was 27 of 34, 477 yards, 5.2 average. Russell Wilson was a really good running back, but too bad he was throwing the ball. He was dinking and dunking down the field. And he didn't dink and dunk down the field too much because he didn't win. I don't believe that Sean Payton is trying to make Russell Wilson into Drew Brees, but I do think that Russell Wilson and Sean Payton are a match made in hell. We saw the quotes come out where Sean Payton told Russell to stop fucking kissing babies and play football. He's not running for office. He's a goddamn quarterback. And then you see this fucking Drew Brees scheme. I think Russell Wilson has a way to win games that he doesn't necessarily want to play. I think Sean Payton has a way to win games that he does not need to play based upon the players that he has. The Broncos, they don't have pieces. They don't have weapons, excuse me. They have pieces. They don't have weapons. They don't have weapons. And Russ is not a 1, 2, 3 bow. 1, 2 bow. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 bow. That's not Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson needs to accept who he is, but also Sean Payton needs to accept who Russell Wilson is and take a page out of Pete Carroll's book and run the.
Guys, here's what we're doing. We're going to run the piss out of this football. Hey, I got you. We're getting ready to run the piss out of football.
You know, run the piss out of football, run the play action, let Russ go up top. That's what makes Russ great. That's what's going to make you great as Russ's coach. And that's what we need to see more. But I think things in Denver are going to get very interesting this year. I think Sean Payton and Russ really aren't on the same page personally because the quotes that came out in the Seth Wickersham article, I don't think they set well with Russ because Russ is Mr. Unlimited, he wants to be this global loved figure, and Sean Payton seems like a more hard nosed, I'm just trying to win fucking football games type of guy. And it's not about doing it the right way, it's about doing it. And I think they're going to clash. I think they're oil and vinegar, or excuse me, not oil and vinegar. They're oil and water because oil and vinegar together taste amazing on a salad, especially if you add a little salt, pepper, and some garlic powder. Oh man, fucking amazing. I just don't think they mix, and I think that it's going to be some disappointment in Denver.
I think they have their get right game this week. Not to even preview the picks, but I think they have their get right game this week. I mean, at the end of the day, they get it. Who's it that's coming? It's not Arizona. A team that they should absolutely beat. I'm trying to remember who the hell do they get? They get the Commanders. That's who they get. And
man.
I think that ultimately, like I said, I didn't watch the game. All I could do was look at the highlights and just analyze statistically, kind of like, wow, what went wrong? Well, for what it's worth, the Raiders were a team that last season both of us were pretty high on to be a playoff team. They added Jimmy G, and I think health prevailing, that's kind of an upgrade. I think that Jimmy G is an upgrade at the end of the day. Is he not? Would you agree that Jimmy G is kind of an upgrade over Derek Carr? I think he is. And I think that even if you go and look at the Saints game and what they did at home, a place that they typically play really well in, they played against a bad team, a team that's not going to be very good, that had a bad performance out of their quarterback, turned the ball over multiple times. They still only won by one. So it's like, maybe we underestimated the Raiders in general as a team because they do have good players on that team. It's not like they don't have good players. They're in what we thought was the best division in football last year. And it is a rivalry game. I mean, Raiders, Broncos, any of those AFC West games, it doesn't matter how you fixate it. They're all big rivalry type games. And they lost by 1 point at home. And it's not me trying to call the dogs off on Russ and his regression, but I just think that at the end of the day that let's give it let's give it a little bit more time. I think that Russ has proven enough in this league, and Sean Payton has too. Not the ideal start in way that you want to start the season, but I'm optimistic more so about them.
I got a lot to feel for Russ.
Hey, Parlay Pete, let's get to our overreactions because you know what? We didn't talk enough about Tua. Tua lit it up.
Tyreek Hill lit it up. He did what he did last year when he was healthy.
And you know what? Brandon Staley sucked it up. Me and Khalifa style. He sucked it up.
I was thinking more Lacey Duvall. I mean, that's
a veteran. That's
a real suck up.
But
Ryan.
But here's the thing.
Did you catch that?
I didn't hear the last part you said.
I said no Ryan. I said that's a real suck up. I said no Ryan.
That's a good one.
We're throwing
that's. I'm not asking for Brandon Staley to be unemployed because I'd never ask for an American to not have a job. But I don't think the job that he has is best suited to his skill set.
No, I'm asking that they take his job away. And you want to know why? Because he's not good at it. And that's the American way. The American way is when somebody's not good at something, you replace them. We're all replaceable. Like that's an American thing, is it not? I mean, that's just a person thing. Fuck that. People get replaced all the time. People replace people in marriage. People replace people, jobs, anything you want to name. you can get replaced. You're all replaceable. And so it's just it's sad, but he's very bad at end of the game. Obviously we can question the hell out of his fourth down calls. I didn't even get to watch that game before either, but I did catch kind of the end when the Dolphins scored there. And hey, why is it that Tyreek Hill, the fastest man on the planet potentially, and certainly the fastest player in the NFL, why is he getting one-on-one coverage a majority of the game? Like,
because our scheme is our scheme, and we're going to play the way that we play.
Okay. Big kick. Oh, 60 yards.
So Tua balled out, threw for 465, silenced the haters, the doubters, whatever. Mike McDaniel just out schemed the hell out of Brandon Staley. And I won't be shocked. I think we'll continue to see this week in and week out that Brandon Staley will show up with good defensive players and have a bad defensive scheme, and they won't execute properly because that's what Brandon Staley does. I think Brandon Staley will continue to make poor decisions. He'll make poor decisions. Whether it's fourth downs, whether it's defensive calls, whether it's single covering Tyreek Hill, whether it's just, sometimes you look at these things and you go, hey, man, they were better than us. Their Joes were better than our Joes.
Yep.
And other times you go, our X and O's didn't give our Joes a chance. And I think that Brandon Staley is one of those people. He's paralysis by analysis. Paralysis by analysis. I think this guy is such a fucking whiz kid. He's so smart. He's so analytical. He thinks so much. And he doesn't just go, hey, man, this guy is good. We should double team him. He goes, hey, man, if the odds of them doing this many times, and if we do this, then the numbers. No. Here's what's going to happen. It turns into a point. Golly, I hate to do this, but it's my first time positively quoting Cowherd. Cowherd says, I like analytics, but I believe in manalytics. Sometimes you got to look at the man on the field, the man on the court. And fuck what your analytics are saying. It's that man versus this man. And when you got that man versus this man, that's who you go with. Also, question, why are they doing – never mind. But when you have Tyreek Hill on the field, drop your analytics and talk about the man first. Talk about the man first. Because the guy who said, hey, I want 2,000 yards this year, he's on track for 3,000 after week one because of your terrible defensive scheme. Yep. But hey, let's get to our overactions and then let's get to the six-pack as we close out hour two. We'll go NFL six-pack first. We'll go college football six-pack. After that, we'll do least three. Then we'll get to some college ball.
Give me 1 second here, brother. I definitely have got to pull up my college.
Okay, you got to pull it up. I'm thinking about these overreactions, and my biggest overreactions is the Bills are boof. For those of y'all don't know what boof means, it's bad. Bills are bad. Like seeing Dick Sherm right here on this halftime show.
Dick's good for TV.
Yeah, I mean, Dick Sherm it's great for TV, and I'm happy that he's on Undisputed. He's needed there. But no, my biggest overreaction that the Bills are done. Josh Allen is who I thought he was. I told you all he's not tier 1. He's not tier 2. He's tier 3. He has tier 1 talent, but he has tier 5 decision making. But because of his talent, it balances him out at tier 3. He's going to make bad decisions. He's going to do dumb stuff. And guess what, man? This is what you get. 4 turnovers in a game where all you got to do is manage the game. You just got to manage the game. You don't got to go win the game. You just got to manage it. This isn't the 15-1 Carolina Panthers with Cam Newton. You're playing against the Aaron Rodgers Jets with Zach Wilson, who's going to give you Chances. Tony Gonzalez needs a new barber here. His hairline is trash. But no, he was terrible. Josh Allen was terrible. And I think we're going to see more of that Josh Allen this year. Another year removed from Dayball, getting back to what's comfortable. The Josh Allen that we were seeing in 2020, 2021.
Yep. No,
we praise him more for his loss against Patrick Mahomes than the actual fact that he lost. I think we get so caught up in what these quarterbacks can do and not what they actually do. We get caught up in the Josh Allen and what he and his skill set. We get so caught up in Justin Herbert and his skill set. You play to win the game. That's what Herm said. And somehow he's back on TV. You play to win the game. And Josh Allen should have won that game, and he didn't.
All right. I think that we got everything laid out here to go back-to-back here on these college picks and our NFL picks.
Well, do you have your overreaction first?
The biggest overreaction I think that I would take away from week one is that the Lions are legit, honestly. I think that they played a team that already was really dependent, of course, on its quarterback, but even more so dependent on those two key players. I think that the biggest overreaction is that the Lions are contenders. I would not slot them as contenders after week one just because impressive win nonetheless. Like I'm not going to take away from the win, but they're not contenders. I think that that's an overreaction. Another overreaction will be potentially that, depends on, I guess, how you looked at it. We briefly kind of talked about it. I don't think that the Russ and Sean thing is it's not going to work. I wouldn't put them in the trash. You know what I mean? Like already after week
I got it at the field for Russell.
Week one, we're going to get a lot of those reactions. And then the third and final overreaction I would probably take away from week one is that the Bills can't right the ship. I think especially with Aaron Rodgers out, the division is still up there. Obviously, I picked the Dolphins to win it, but like at the same time, to say that they can't make that run, I think that they can. I don't know if I feel like there might be something internally going on there. They had the hot mic thing with it was a hot mic for the lady that's a reporter for Bills.com that got caught and stuff, and talking about Diggs, of course, last year they were showing him yelling at Josh Allen. Josh Allen looked a little like Sam Darnold on the sideline at Jets games. At that Jets game, and just in terms of, he looked low-key deflated. But I think that there's too much talent on that team. I think Brian Daboll clearly is missed, but at the same time, let's hold our horses on them. And I know once we get to the picks, I'll be able to explain even more so why.
Hey, well, shit, man. We're here. Let's get to the picks.
Are we going to do Were we going to do NFL, or I thought we'd do college first?
Nah, do NFL first this week.
Okay, let's run the NFL then. Of course, we went 6-0 last week for anyone that tailed the picks.
Let's take a second.
This is how we have to cut this off, too, by the way. You have to start it off this way. You can't do it with the introduction. We got to start off with I went 6-0 last week.
Hey, Parlay Pete, how'd you do last week?
We went 6-0. All right, we went 6-0. That's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6.
You went 6-0 on the NFL 6-pack. How did you do on your college football 6-pack?
We went 4-2. We repeated our performance, but you start talking about you give out 12 picks a week. I think 10-2 is not bad.
Not at all.
I don't think it's bad. And what did you go? What did you go?
3-0 2 weeks in a row. So Lee's 3 is 6-0.
Yeah.
So, hey, Instagram, you're telling us y'all love the picks. Like, you're telling us y'all love the picks. I
saw shared by 27 people.
Yeah, I saw the shares. I saw the hours watched. I've gotten the feedback. Hey, dog, go ahead and tell y'all. Come shop with us. We gonna get you paid.
We're giving you free game. Yeah, and these picks aren't meant to be parlayed. You can parlay it if you want. That's up to you. But if you just put $100 or whatever, if it's a favorite and they're minus 285, you put 285. You're gonna make money every week. Every week you're gonna make money.
And I'll tell you, Parlay Pete, the point of the point of Leads 3, right?
You simplify it even better.
Is to give them my 3 favorite picks, but to also give them that parlay that I hope they can walk out of the weekend with, right? Like when we give these picks, hey, we want you to bet these things individually. And if you're feeling if you're feeling frisky,
yeah,
we want you to
handsy.
We want you to do a low dollar parlay. And if you're
I'm all about big money. We big money.
You're gonna tell them big money. I'm gonna tell them to do a low dollar parlay if they're gonna put them all together, and then I'm gonna say, take your favorite picks out of it to create your parlay. At the end of the day, we're giving you guys money for free.
Yeah.
And here's the thing, though, because I do get calls sometimes, especially on Sunday mornings when people know that I'm around Parlay Pete, asking for gambling advice. That's not free.
Yeah, now we're doing a little extra. Just catch the reel. Lee puts it up. I repost it every week. Every week you can look forward to it. I know this time I did it Sunday morning. I did it at like 9 a.m. or something, maybe 8:30. It's something like that. But they're gonna get up, and as long as you tune in, you'll be able to see it. Obviously, always my page is private, unfortunately, but yours is public, and that's ultimately where I'm getting it from. You're the one that's putting it up, and I'm reposting it, so it's right there. And you put it up a day in advance for each. Like the college football picks will be available tomorrow. NFL will be available, worst case, Saturday morning during college football. You'll get to start getting that stuff in. But 6-0, and I think the record speaks for itself. We're undefeated on the NFL season, and look, we're looking to go 6-0 again this week, and I've got a piping hot 6-pack for everybody.
Put it on me.
Let's go ahead and start off with those Broncos that we were talking about. I like Russ and the boys to get it together and home game number 2. And I'm going to take the money line against the Commanders. I think minus 195 is pretty good money, honestly, considering. I think that they're just a better team. They're more talented. The defense is better. And they kind of have no choice but to win this game. So we're going to go ahead and roll with the Broncos money line. Next game, me and Lee were talking about this pre-production and then just texting each other's friends. We got the Jets at the Cowboys. I'm not even going to touch the spread. I love the under. I think it's 2 great defenses, arguably probably 2 top 5 defenses in the NFL. Dak didn't even really have to do anything last Sunday, and I expect him to really not have to do anything this week. I see a 27-10 type game, maybe 24-9, 24-6, something like that. Low scoring. So we're going to take under 38 in this Jets-Cowboys game. Next, we got another bounce-back game for a home team. This will be a popular spot, I think, for a lot of people to want to run with the Ravens, but I just don't think that Joe Burrow and them can play that bad again. So we're going to go with the Bengals on the money line. I don't see why they don't get it done at home. This game, because, see, here's the issue if they do lose, too, and this is what people have to look at. This is a team that's been to 2 straight AFC championship games. You start talking about – it's one thing to be 0-2. It's another thing to be 0-2 in your division. They can't really afford to do that. Baltimore didn't look all that good. I like Cincinnati. Give me Cincinnati on the money line. Next, another team that we talked about a little bit earlier, and another team that we didn't talk about and how disappointing they were and how fraudulent I thought they were. And Lee, this was going to burn you a little bit. I'm burning that cigar into your arm right now. We got the Seahawks at the Detroit Lions. Talk about a disappointment. The Seahawks scored 13 points at home. Look, Rams defense, Aaron Donald was still on the field. I mean, everybody, we can talk like that nigga wasn't still on the field. This is still a lot of – they still have a lot of core pieces from that great Rams defense. And, of course, Aaron Donald still being one of the best defensive players in the league, arguably maybe he's certainly top 5 ever, I think, in my opinion. But we're going to go ahead and roll with the Lions at minus 4.5. I like them to cover the spread. I don't think that Seattle was for real last year. Geno Smith – great story, great season. That isn't Geno Smith in reality. We've seen too much of Geno. He's the opposite of Russell Wilson. We got to see many years of Geno not being good. Then he has one good year. Now everybody wants to act like he's fucking good. And it's vice versa with Russell Wilson. He has one bad year, and now he fucking sucks. I don't believe in either. So we're going to go ahead and take the Lions -4.5. Next, we got the Bills. Now, this spread is at 8. I'm going to buy the 1.5. This is going to be my first buy of the year. We're going to go -6.5 on the Bills. I do think that they can cover the 8 because they're at home and they're playing a Raiders team that shouldn't have won last week. But to be safe, we are just going to buy the 1.5. We're going to go Bills -6.5 against the Raiders. I really like that number, and I expect that offense to be humming at home. And then finally, what is a pick show without us touching these Falcons? We got the Packers at the Atlanta Falcons, and what we're going to do is we're going to take the over, actually. I like over 40.5. I think it's a low number. I could see a 20-17 type game, 21-17. I could see these type of things, but I ultimately think that both of these teams are going to get into the 20s. I don't expect our defense to hold somebody to 10 again, but I absolutely expect us to go over 40.5.
All right, man. So let's talk about this NFL 6-pack. We got the Broncos on the money line over the Commanders. We got the Jets at the Cowboys under 38. We got the Ravens versus the Bengals. We're taking the Bengals on the money line. We got the Lions -4.5 over the Seahawks. We got the Bills -6.5. We're going to buy a point over the Raiders. And we got that Packers at Falcons game over 40.5.
Yep. I love it.
You like it. I love it. Let's get to Parlay Pete's college football 6-pack.
All right, we got a mean sixer here. We've been 4-2 the last 2 weeks. Let's hope that we can break through and at least get to 5-1, 6-0, something like that. I mean, that would be the ideal thought, right? Like that's what we want. But we'll go ahead. We'll start off with the familiar pick from last week. One of the guys that disappointed us. We got Florida International at Connecticut. Go ahead and give me Connecticut on the money line. I like Jim Moore to get it done at home against FIU. Not much to really speak about here. I just expect them to win the game because they're better than FIU. Next, we got a bounce back game from Saban. He heard everybody talking on Feinbaum, any local Southern station. He heard all the talk. We're going to take Alabama which is surprising. They're going to South Florida. That's the even wilder part.
Tampa's a wild city, baby.
But how about Alabama going to South Florida? What a weird thing to do. We're going to take
we should go back to Tampa.
We should. I like Alabama -33.5. I think that they do cover at South Florida. I expect this to be more of the statement game of, y'all thought Bama was sweet type thing. So give me Bama -33.5. Next, I could not believe this line when I saw it. Florida State at Boston College. Boston College has been so fucking bad this year. And Florida State looks like a legitimate national championship contender. Fuck playoffs, national championship contender. Give me Florida State -26.5. I think they're going to thump the shit out of Boston College. I really don't see why they wouldn't. So give me Florida State -26.5. I like Jordan Travis and the Boars. Next, we got LSU at Mississippi State. This one, I wanted to touch the spread because I just expect LSU to bounce back too. This is the bounce back week for a lot of teams. Give me LSU on the money line. It's so favorable to the point at where if you parlay the 6 that I'm giving out, this is a really good pick just to add to it because of how favorable the money line is. It's LSU at Mississippi State. I just don't.
Hey, well, Parlay Pete left us for a second, so we'll stand by. We'll wait for him. Let me write this down. And we'll get back to that 6-pack. So I'm not going to lie to you guys. I'm liking a lot of college picks for the 6-pack, but hey, man, he's bite.
Okay, not sure what happened just there, but I'll continue where I was at. Just don't expect LSU to not end up winning this football game. Give me LSU on the money line at Mississippi State. And then finally, the last pick of this 6-pack. This one's a little bit.
I only got four. Oh,
no. You're right. I skipped over one because of the order is going because I want to end the last one because of specifically the way you're dressed. All right, so the 5th one, we've got Washington at Michigan State. Controversial type of football game. Mel Tucker won't be on the sideline. Apparently, he likes to have phone sex with rape survivors. That's just bad news with Penix coming into town. They're going to give them a little preview of what they're going to be giving them in the Big Ten. Give me Washington minus 16.5. I think they're going to kick the shit out of Michigan State. I don't think that there's going to be inspiring play because of Mel Tucker's suspension. I think that they're going to be just deflated, and they're just not a very good football team. We've got to see it. They barely were beating up on Central Michigan. Give me Washington to cover that spread. And then finally, we got Woj Wine in the studio with us right now. He's got his chain. He's got his fucking headset on. He's got his hat. He's got his shades. He's got a sweatshirt. Go ahead and lay that minus 23.5 on Colorado at Colorado State. I don't think that people should be talking about the way that people were raised, because that's basically what Colorado State's Coach Norville, was trying to say. He was trying to say that basically Prime wasn't raised right. That's what I took away from it more than anything. Some people can look at it as a little racial undertone. It's just a matter of how you want to look at it. But I look at it this way. You're saying I was raised this way, and you're saying that he wasn't raised right based on the way that you were raised. Why are you talking about this man's mom? That is basically what you said. He basically said your mom. And so I expect his sons to specifically come out and lay some big wood. Minus 23.5 Colorado, by the way.
All right, man. So for our college football 6-pack, we got UConn on the money line.
Mm-hmm.
Bama minus 33.5. FSU minus 26.5.
Mm-hmm.
LSU on the money line.
Mm-hmm.
Washington minus 16.5.
Mm-hmm.
And Coach Wine and the Colorado Buffaloes minus 23.5.
That is correct. That's our 6-pack.
Oh, man. You like it. I love it. But you know what it's time for.
Lee's 3. Lee's 3. Lee's 3. Lee's 3.
Let's go with those Falcons versus the Packers. Give me that over.
Yeah. Don't you see some points being scored?
I see a 24-20 game, 27-24 type of game.
Yeah.
I see a few points getting scored. Give me Washington minus 16.5. I'm so happy you put this on here because, hey guys, here's how we do this, right? Parlay Pete does his 6-pack independently of anything we talk about. Like, we may talk games. I may throw some lines at him and say, hey, I'm thinking about betting this week. Tell me I'm crazy. But, like, we actually don't talk about the 6-pack until we get here. And I will always derive my 3 from his 6-pack. So, if you want to know my...
It's not a separate 6-pack, guys. It's just his picks from my picks.
Yeah, so if you want my picks, call me and I'll send you my cash app. But yeah, we have Washington minus 16.5. And bro, you see how I'm dressed, man. I'm a grown man. Don't nobody tell me how to dress, man. Give me them Colorado Buffaloes to cover 23.5. Because I think it's going to be an ass whooping at Colorado State. I love what Prime is doing. I think they're only going to win like 8 or 9 games, by the way. But I love what he's doing up there. And Shiloh said it, man. Why they keep doing this?
They keep trying to poke that bear.
And Prime said, I think it was Prime who said, hey, man, we was getting ready for a game, and now they done made it personal.
That is what they did, though.
So I put my hood up with my headset on the outside. I got my glass on. I got my chain. I got my hat on because, see, ain't no grown man going to tell me how to dress. And I rock with Coach Prime. Don't get me wrong. I'm not going to pick him every week. I'm not a fucking idiot.
No, they got Oregon soon. I had Oregon.
I ain't picking
the game I'm not taking them in.
I ain't taking versus USC the next week.
Unless Bo Nix like tears his ACL or something. But, I mean, you know.
But nah, man, that's how we rocking for Lee's 3. You like it. I love it. Parlay Pete.
Hit my
While
thing.
we're here, let's get to talking some college football because
I thought you
We're
wanted
gonna
to
start.
music.
We're gonna start with Coach Prime, and let me get right. Let me take my hat off and my glasses off so I can talk to you like a man.
Please do.
Kiss my ass. So, hey guys, hour two, we're going into college football, man. We're going there. We got to go there because that's what we do. But I'm not going to lie to you.
Hour three.
Yeah, you're right. Hour three. I personally don't like what Colorado State's coach did, man.
Who woke?
Yeah, I don't care about bulletin board material. Devontae Smith just caught a tutty. I'm not getting caught up into that. But when you were, I think at the top of the week, they were minus 21.5. Before we started this pod, they were like minus 22.5. And by the time we did this pod, they were minus 23.5. I don't think you should come out and talk crazy about the coach and the program you're playing against.
No.
When you're plus 20-point favorites, underdogs.
No,
I'm not saying that Colorado State can't win this game. I'm just saying I wouldn't pick them to win this game, and I don't think they'll win this game. I don't think it'll be close. I think they'll get beat by fucking 28-30.
Yeah.
But when you do stuff like that, man, it goes back to some of the guys in the SWAC who said Coach Prime ain't SWAC. It goes back to the people in the media talking about Deion as prime time and not understanding that he got to be prime time because he put in the work to be that much better than the people he played against.
Yep.
And it's bleeding over into how he's viewed as a coach because he has the glitz and the glam, the flash. He got Gilly there. He got Mace. He got Cam on the sideline. He got Stephen A. and Shannon on the sideline. He got playmaker Michael Irvin on the sideline, and they'll be back. And Stephen A. and Shannon will be back. Joe Bud and them got the invitation to come to a game, right? Like he got the celebrities there. But you got to understand, because of the pressure that he puts on himself and his team, because of who he was as a player and the pressure that came with that, Deion knows you got to be good to talk this shit. He's not Dylan Brooks. He's right. KD. He's Kobe. He's Michael Jordan. He goes, I talk this shit because I can bust your ass. Oh, yeah, he's Steph Curry, too, because don't think Steph Curry ain't like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's not a guy who goes, oh, I'm Deion Sanders, so this shit just happens. Yes, he had the natural athletic gifts that made him a really good athlete, but what made him one of the best athletes we've ever seen, like, I don't know if you saw the post that came out this week, but one day Deion played the first game of a doubleheader at Florida State. Witten ran on the 4x1 team, then played the second game of the doubleheader. We know that he played for the Falcons, then Witten played for the Braves in the same day.
Got a fumble. He got a fumble and he had a fumble and a stolen base in the same, like they said it was about 20 feet apart, like on that same field. Isn't that wild?
It's crazy. So when you do what he's done just as a player and you don't respect the work ethic that he put in to do that, I don't want you talking about ball because you don't get it. You can't be that good without work. And I said this on the pod last week. His DC, who came over from Alabama, said he 98, he like 98, 96% Saban. Saban ain't gonna do all the flashy shit that Prime is doing. But when it comes to the grind, it comes to the work, where they doing the same thing. You're holding players accountable. You're holding coaches accountable. That's what he's doing. So, like, to hear this coach say that nonsense, hey, man, we're supposed to know your name now. And guess what, coach? I'm not gonna say your name now because you don't deserve for me to say your name right now because all you doing is piggybacking off of Prime for some motherfucking clout.
Yep, that's all it is, though.
And I can't do that.
They do anything for her, remember?
Yeah.
I think Offset said that, didn't he?
Offset said that. And then he married Cardi B. So, and he put her on that song. So he knew what he was doing.
Hey, man.
But man,
well, look, it takes one to know.
Let's talk about Saban, man. Let's talk about Alabama. Alabama loses.
Mm-hmm.
They lose to Texas. They actually get their ass kicked by Texas.
To be fair.
If you watched the game, it wasn't a close game. Shout out to my grandmama. She just turned 90. We watched the game together Saturday night. It was Parlay Pete, let me tell you, it was a great time because my grandmama is actually like my true introduction to sports.
Yeah.
Like when I was a little kid, she would take me to the high school games because she would go to the high school games like not to watch my older cousins, but to like watch ball.
Yeah.
I remember when I was in college, I was working at the recreation department and I would just be walking around the fields and I would see my grandmama just watching a random baseball game. Like some 8-year-olds, some 10-year-olds, some 11-year-olds. She's just there watching ball. This is baseball. My grandmama loves sports. So, like, that's where my love for sports comes from because when we first moved to Georgia, I lived with my grandmama for a while, and then I spent a lot of time at her house because that's where me and my cousins would always go.
Yeah.
So, like, being able to, all weekend I watched ball with my grandmama. Friday night, I went to my high school, watched them play in a rivalry game. They won by a lot. I come home. She's watching the Parkview, like North Gwinnett, Central Gwinnett, whatever Gwinnett school. She's watching that game. I sit in there for a little while, watch the rest of the game with her. Saturday, we're watching Bama, Texas. But she's also like commercial pops up. She's going to the next channel. She's going to ABC.
She doesn't want to watch.
She don't care about the quality. She just wants to watch ball. So like, we're watching a Wisconsin game, and I'm like, Grandmama, this game is trash. Get this shit off from TV. But no, we're watching ball. Sunday, we have a big party for her for her birthday. Mm-hmm. Jordan Addison just scored a touchdown.
Of course he did. Couldn't have been Jefferson or Madison,
But we get back from the party. Sunday Night Football's on, and we're watching the Dallas Cowboys beat the dog shit out of the Giants. It's 40-0. My grandmama ain't ready to go to bed. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're watching the game. So shout out to her and my love for sports. But yeah, now Bama's just not good this year. I think they can win the West, but I wouldn't be shocked if they lost to Ole Miss or LSU. But Jalen Milroe, not good.
Not good. And more importantly, Texas, it appeared to be more talented.
No, yeah, Sark has a good fucking team.
They look like they were more talented than Alabama. Alabama doesn't look like they're as talented as they have been. And, it's unfortunate, of course. We've seen so many talented Alabama football teams to the point at where it's kind of like, okay, when does it end? Because everything, look, what goes up must come down. Am I right?
Yeah.
It was one of those things where for me, I lost, I didn't lose this. I had potential winnings of about $27,000 on that game. It came down to Alabama winning the football game. And, I didn't hedge. But the thing is this. It's because I had another game going on too. It was Oregon. Oregon was the other game. And so they were both like simultaneously, like the same shit was going on. Really close games, same time frame. I suggest to people, unless you're super duper confident, don't do that because then you're going to be put in that position if you can't hedge. But point being, I was on the phone with Justice and we were talking about the game. He took Texas. And what is it we talked about was, you know, when's the last time Nick Saban lost a game in week 2? When does that happen? Okay, there are seasons where he loses. Cool. How soon does he lose into his seasons? He doesn't typically lose these games this early. This has got to be the earliest Nick Saban loss.
He usually doesn't play good teams this early either.
Outside of 0-0, well, they played Florida State here one year. Now, granted, this was like the year after Jameis left. So they didn't get – but then I think Florida State was the national champions. And they played them in the opener, but there was no Jameis Winston. So it was like Larry Coker, who eventually went on to go to Bama. I want to say Coker was on Bama, maybe. I don't remember how that went. But they did play each other. And it was a 1-3 matchup to start the year. They will play people. I mean, USC was ranked when they played them in Texas.
They were
at
trash.
AT&T. Yeah, they were trash. But, was Sam Darnold the guy? I think Sam Darnold might have been the guy for that game.
I think it was a year after Darnold. No, it was a Darnold year, but it was before Darnold got the job.
Okay. Point being, they'll play some programs. They played Duke here one year. I mean, Duke's not a program. Hell, they look like it, if you let Dabo tell it. But, we give Bama this pass because Bama has been so dominant. But the reality of it is that the tide has turned, pun intended. The tide's turned. At the end of the day, Georgia is the new dominant school in college football. So we need to stop having the same expectation for Alabama that we do for what is now the new Georgia. It's not really the same team. I mean, Georgia's won 2 in a row and they're in the same conference. So why are we acting like they're the second best program when, they haven't won one in 2 years?
Hey, we talked about it in pre-production, and NIL and the transfer portal is hurting Alabama, not in the same way that it hurts other teams. It's more. I think it's more so the portal than NIL because, dude, you can't stash these top end players, these Derrick Henrys, these Trent Richardsons, college Trent Richardson,
Yeah.
You can't stash them because, bro, they'll leave. And what made Alabama so great was they get these 5 stars, these 4 stars, these 3 stars, they develop them. And they let them sit on the bench for 2-3 years. You can't do that anymore. So it's leveling the playing field. Now, I don't think that's a shot at Nick Saban, but I also think that for Alabama, bad quarterback year. They didn't go after Sam Hartman. They went after Drake May. Drake May was committed to UNC.
Yeah, he wasn't going to leave.
And because they don't have a top-end quarterback, they can't fix their deficiencies that they've made in recruiting and in the portal. But Parlay Pete, can I ask you to role play a little bit?
Yeah, go ahead.
Can you be Paul Feinbaum? Can I be an Alabama fan?
Let's do it. Give me 1 second. I wish I had my jacket or something and a tie and maybe some glasses myself, not sunglasses, with, regular glasses. I wish I didn't have a full head of hair or something, but here, we'll still do the best that we can.
I feel like I got to take my hat off. I got to take my sunglasses off. Let me tuck my chain real quick because I don't think that's reflective of the people who call the Paul Feinbaum show. Paul!
Is this Milton?
Hey, Paul, this is Milt from Tuscaloosa. Let me tell you, I watched that piece of shit that we put out on the field on Saturday. Excuse my language, Paul. I don't mean to come on the show and curse, but I tell you what, Paul, that game right there was terrible. I tell you what, boy, if this is what Alabama keeps putting on the field, then I don't know what we're going to do because Sarkisian.
Well, Milton, look, and I didn't mean to cut you off, and I want to let you finish, but Milton, at the end of the day, what is it that you're actually trying to say? What are you trying to say about Coach Saban?
Paul, what I'm trying to tell you about Coach Saban is Sarkisian is recruiting better than him. He's bringing in better boys. We got Milroe back there, and that boy, he can't read his last name on the paper.
Well, look, Milton, I agree with you on Milroe. I spoke about this on my last show, and I'm sure that you were listening, and we appreciate your listens all the time. But at the end of the day, you know, if you were in Saban's position, were you going to put in the guy behind him? I mean, what type of thing did you expect Saban to do? Look, and I'm there with you, but to say that you know, he's RIP Undertaker style and a buried alive man, I don't know if that's true. You know, I think that college football is in a different place, and at the end of the day, Milton, we've got to understand that as fans of the game and people that analyze the game.
Well, let me tell you something, Paul. When you go on Get Up and with Greeny and First Take Stephen, I don't watch that. That's bad TV. Them guys, they don't know a darn thing about what goes on down here in the SEC. Those are some New York guys. They think they know football, but all those guys do is they just pick the best team. They want USC to win it all anyway. They don't care about what goes on down here down south. They just choose Alabama because of what Saban's been doing over the years. But let me tell you, Paul, I got a solution for you.
What's that?
I got a solution for you, Paul. Now, you just listen up, Paul. I'll tell you what, Paul.
Well, hold on now. Now, this is still the Paul Feinbaum show. This is not the Milton show. Milton, I'm going to let you slide with that one, but we're going to let you get one more chance. Go ahead.
Paul, here's what we do. Time for Saban to go. He's lost his fastball.
Milton. Now you're stepping on me, okay? I get the outrage. I get it. This is early in the season. You're not used to seeing a Nick Saban lose these type of football games. It's one game. The season's not over.
Paul.
And I think that it's ridiculous for you to come out here and think that Nick Saban, you know, just shouldn't be coaching or something anymore.
Man, let me tell you something, Paul.
You sound like that Georgia fan that called me that was on the call before that said, you know, maybe he could be an assistant at Georgia. I mean, I had to hang up on him. I couldn't even listen to what he had to say because he sounds so ridiculous, and that's how you sound, Milton.
Well, Paul, I'll tell you what. That lack of discipline product they put out there on the field, Saban go ahead and take his ass to Kirby and go be his goddamn assistant because Kirby was the best thing to happen to Alabama football, and we wish we had Kirby back right now, Paul. I'll trade Saban for Kirby.
Milton, this is where I hang up the phone, Milton.
Hey, yo, so for the listeners, we did this little rendition because that was literally the tone.
Yeah, I feel like I should have given you Cletus. Cletus should have been your name instead of Milton.
Milton was good, though. That was literally the tone of Alabama fans this week on the Paul Feinbaum show. And I don't expect all you listeners to listen to the Paul Feinbaum show. I love the Paul Feinbaum show because it's where you get to hear college football fans talk. And
passionate college football.
And I'll tell you, like on this show, we are fans of Georgia football, but we are I feel like we are fans of the game first, and we are fairly objective. Yes, yeah, some of our Falcons takes are fanatic.
Yeah, look, nobody to act like anyone that talks sports, whether that's on a national scale, local scale, or freelance scale, doesn't have a sort of bias towards a team. That's a fucking lie. There's nobody that's a fan of sports that doesn't have a bias, whether that's towards a team, school, or player. There's always going to be some sort of a bias. I try to protect mine as much as possible. Obviously, anyone that's been listening to this show, because we've been doing this now, almost 4 years. Anyone that listens to this show knows that I don't think it's a Matt Ryan bias, but I like to point out the facts about Matt Ryan, even when there are things that are brought to my attention that are facts too. I like to throw out the positive facts because they both exist. They can both coexist at that. You know what I mean? So there will be some subjective type talk, right?
Yeah.
But there'll also be objective talk. So,
but when you listen to the people call in the Feinbaum, it's like, look at Alabama's roster. It's not a national championship roster.
Yeah. Nick
Saban has built up enough. Like, yeah, he didn't make the playoffs last year, but he still made a New Year's Six bowl. He has a top quarterback coming committed next year. Relax. Just fucking relax, you know? And that kind of takes me to the next piece I want to talk about a little bit, Parlay Pete. Is the SEC's reign over, or are they just taking a year off? Because we look at LSU losing to Florida State. We look at Alabama losing to Texas. We don't know how to feel about Georgia yet because they haven't played a good team. And we see the great quarterback play around college football.
Yeah.
Specifically in the Pac-12.
Pac-12 stepped it up this year. It's funny. They're going out with a bang. It's just, it's
right.
You can't skip this stuff. You literally can't write it.
But you're not seeing that high level of quarterback play in the SEC. And I think that a great quarterback does cover up a lot of warts on a team, especially in college football. And the SEC just doesn't have good quarterback play this year.
No.
I think the SEC takes a step back as a conference that gets two teams in that is at the top of the polls.
Mm-hmm.
But I wouldn't be shocked if Georgia three-peats.
I look at it this way. Both of those losses were non-conference, and I think it hurts them when it comes to head-to-head if those teams don't win the SEC. But the thought is that anyways this season, how many two-loss teams did we have in last year? None. There were no two-loss teams. Michigan and Georgia were undefeated. TCU lost their last game and didn't win their conference. And then
Michigan.
No. Ohio State backdoored in with their only loss.
Yes, they lost Michigan.
So it's one of those things where I think it's a bit of an overreaction. They did lose, but you start talking about these are arguably the best teams in those conferences. Florida State's the best team in the ACC. Texas is probably the best team in the Big 12. So it's like they lost to the teams that are the guys. And now one's a neutral site game, basically home game because it was in Florida. And then the other loses at home. It hurt Alabama a little bit more. But the reality of it is this. If Alabama runs the table and they get to the SEC championship game and they play an undefeated Georgia and they beat Georgia, Alabama's in one. And then Georgia still gets in two. You're not going to deny that the team that's won two in a row, that's won, I think, 23, I believe is the count now. They've won 23 games in a row. You're not going to take those guys out. So I don't think that the SEC is necessarily taking a step back, but certainly the quarterback play, specifically in the Pac-12, Big 12's put up some big numbers, but they're known for that. I mean, they've been known for that, for forever. I think that is something that is happening, and it is a reason for concern. But this is the last year of college football as we know it, and no team in the Big 10 has looked impressive to me. Like Michigan hasn't played anyone either, and they've looked less impressive than Georgia. Now, granted, their coach isn't there, but I don't think that their coach has too much to do with when they're playing lackeys. Ohio State does not look good. Like, they don't look good to me. They didn't look good. They looked too porous against a team like Indiana. And granted, being on the road, but they didn't win by 3 touchdowns. That game was kind of close, and I think that the Pac-12 itself it's going to end up cannibalizing itself, right? You start talking, I think there's 8 teams in the top 25 in there. They all are going to have to play each other. Literally, they all play each other, and they're going to cannibalize each other. And the question will be, how strong do you think the Pac-12 is? Because can they get a 2-loss conference champion in? Will be the real question. Certainly, if a team comes out with 1 loss, USC would have been in last year if they had won, but they didn't. They lost to Utah. And so it'll be interesting to see. But you've got 8 teams in the Pac-12 that are all ranked, and they do seem to all have strong quarterback play. That being like the one consistent thing with each and every last one of those teams. I don't think that this is just a year off for the SEC. I think that the best team in college football is still in the SEC. and that ultimately the league itself is still the standard.
Yeah, I agree with you. I just think it's a down quarterback year for the SEC. The SEC has had some tough out of conference matchups with good quarterbacks, really good college quarterbacks. So the losses are louder right now, but the wins a stack up as the year goes. But let's get to another segment we have. Let's talk about teams that we think will be looking for new coaches next year.
Yeah.
I'll let you open this one up. Give me your first team who you think is going to be looking for a coach next year.
If Brandon Staley keeps doing what he's doing in LA, Colorado might be. But I just leave that there because why wouldn't they want prime time in LA?
Prime say he's not coaching in the league. He wants to coach in college. He wants to mentor these young men.
Look, I know the Spanos, they're not known for just opening up the checkbook. I mean, they did just pay the quarterback, but hey, I'm just saying. But no, realistically, as it stands, I think Ryan Day has got to be on the hottest of seats because Michigan wins the game. Oh, you said the first one to get fired.
No, I'm talking about coaches. No, not first one. I'm talking about coaches. I'm talking about teams who will be looking for a new coach this offseason. So, yeah, you're going the right way.
Ohio State will. Well, Florida. I mean, I have to throw them really high up, too. Probably Florida, honestly. I think that Billy Napier, I think that thing's about to fall off the rails.
Hey.
I think that thing, because we went over their schedule. Where do you see the wins?
7-6, man.
I don't even fucking see that. I mean, I see 5-8. Man,
I want to save East Lansing for last. Okay,
I'm not going to count them because they might fire their coach like next week. So like,
yeah, I want to save them. I want to save them for last. What about I look down in College Station, man.
Yeah, God, what a buyout though, right? Like, what a buyout.
We're talking
buyout for a second.
We're talking about oil riggers.
I know, man, but $60 million to make somebody go away, that's a lot of fucking money. Like 20, I hear you.
They're paying 5 stars a lot of money who aren't good.
60 to go away, 60 to stay away. I mean, I thought Charlie Weiss is still getting paid from Kansas and Notre Dame. We would have thought that he was the biggest finesser of
Hey, Carrie, I got to go to the bathroom.
We would have thought that Charlie Weiss was the biggest finesser of college football coaching. I don't know. I don't think that Jimbo gets the hook. I think Jimbo gets at least one more year, and that maybe they move on from Jimbo next season. That's kind of the way that I see it. But I mean that would be a toughie. You know, that's a toughie. To just say, yeah, man, Jimbo, we're gonna go ahead and release you. We're gonna move on, and we don't want to see you again. That's just a horrible way to put this type of stuff, And so, I think that Texas A&M is definitely a candidate. I just don't see them paying a $60 million buyout, And I think that's something that everybody has to ask themselves. If you were the head of any corporation, no matter how much money you had, how much power you had, how much resources you have, do you pay somebody $60 million to go away? I mean, there are lottery winners that win $100 million lotteries that don't fucking get a $60 million payout in the state of Texas, where there's no state income tax. So I don't see that being, the way for them specifically. Now, on the other hand, some could say that if Sark, after getting that win with Alabama, maybe he gets on the chopping block. I mean, Urban Meyer is out there. I don't believe that Texas would do it necessarily, but, what if they fall to Oklahoma? What if they fall a couple more times? What if they lose 3 or 4 games? I mean, what do you do in that type of situation? And as I was explaining to everyone, AC, like I said, the $60 million buyout. I think that's just kind of something to where a lot of people, no matter how many resources you had, you don't do. But I looked over even at where everything is looking great right now. That could surprise a lot of people if shit really hits the fan quick, like it typically does for them. What if Sark loses 4 games this year? What if they still don't do anything this season? Would he not be somebody that maybe is under consideration, especially with an Urban Meyer sitting out there? Is that not somebody that people – because Arch is there, and I don't see Arch being the type to transfer.
So
unless Coop, Eli, and Peyton and, the family is basically like, nah, he's a sleazeball. He's a pervin liar. Like, no.
So listen to Klatt this week, and he talked about the Arch piece, and they didn't want Arch to come in as a starter. They wanted him to, because he played like low-level ball in Louisiana right outside of New Orleans.
Yeah. I mean, same school, Landry and Odell, obviously both Manning brothers. I mean, well, all the Manning brothers, not both, but all.
They wanted apparently like the plan for Arch was to sit year one, right? Yeah. I think that Sark is going to be okay unless he just like totally shits the bed. Mm-hmm. I'm talking about like loses to Oklahoma, loses to like Texas Tech. Like, you mean lose games that he just shouldn't lose?
That's what I'm saying. But that would be how he would get there.
Yeah, but
he shouldn't lose.
I don't foresee Sark losing his job because he beat Saban in Tuscaloosa.
You think that's enough to keep it if he loses 3 or 4 games?
I don't see him losing that many games because they look good. Like, they beat Saban at Saban shit. You know what I mean? Like, they played physical football. Like, the way they iced the game was they ran the ball.
Yeah.
So I struggle to see that team being in the situation that you're talking about, unless Quinn Ewers just starts throwing like picks out the yin yang.
Yeah.
But I think Herb is the wild card because that Florida doc doesn't come out showing Herb in a positive light for no reason. Mm-hmm. Herb on TV. Herb doesn't like being on TV. Herb's a compulsive gambler, you know. He's got to go out there and get the feel. Talking about the game does not scratch Herb's itches.
No, it doesn't.
You know, he needs real life twerk in the bar on him. He's not a strip club type of guy. You know what I mean?
No, he isn't.
He's not going there and watch. He's like, nah, I'm a club guy because I want you here on me. You know what I mean? So I think Herb becomes the fire starter that makes shit weird for coaches who may not deserve to get fired, but they could lose their jobs because
he's a better coach than them.
Like Cristobal needs to damn near win that fucking ACC.
I don't think he gets fired. What is this? Is this year 3 for him?
Year 2. I don't think he gets fired.
He doesn't get fired.
I don't think he gets fired.
They already beat Texas A&M, and I'm not saying that that's like a huge win, but they beat them. Like they beat them. So like
they beat them. But what happens if Herb's agent that he should have, unlike Colin Kaepernick, says, "Hey man,
he's interested in
coming. You like Coral Gables." You know what I mean? So I think Herb, if he doesn't go back to Florida or Ohio State, 2 places where I think he could end up at, I don't think he'd go to Michigan State, but I could see it because it's not Michigan.
Nah, Michigan State's not good enough.
Michigan State has made the playoffs.
I know. They played Bama here on a New Year's Day or Eve. I think it was Eve.
New Year's Eve.
Tony.
I was in San Diego. Right? I remember. Yeah, and who's back? But I think Herb
Well,
creates. I think Herb creates a different level of pressure out there because I think he's coming back. I think he's coming back next year. He's playing the coach.
I think the Florida job is his job, and obviously that was the first team I mentioned outside of if Prime decided he wanted to, just skip to the NFL. I don't think he will either, but it is a real. Let's not say that it's not possible. If Shador is gone, I know Shiloh's still there, but and I know Hunter is still there, but the reality of it is,
I don't think he leaves Hunter by himself.
Considering that was his first big fish and that really what turned this whole thing around. I got you. The loyalty to him.
And positionally, because they're so aligned.
That'll just mean that Jim's going to take the the Charger job. That's what that means. Jim Harbaugh is just going to take the fucking job because he'll have a quarterback. He'll be an L. Like a lot works out for that. So,
hey, in this conversation, Jim Harbaugh's not on the hot seat, but he's out of there.
Yeah. Hey, the Michigan job, by the way.
Yeah, it's going to be open.
Yeah. Shit. And you don't think Herb maybe do it? What is
he's Ohio State, man.
You can't. It's not like he went to Ohio State, and I know he's from Ohio, but it's not like. I mean, how many people have coached the Lakers and Celtics? Probably nobody, huh?
Hold on, I'm gonna try to make a phone call real quick. I'm gonna see if it's gonna go through.
Go ahead.
Cause my man's might be at work, but he's legit Michigan fan. I hope he's off. Because I would love to get his take on this. Because he hates Herb. At work. But I don't think Herb works in Michigan. Because Michigan folks are like, hold on, I'm going to make a call to another Michigan guy.
Okay. JP's the Michigan guy. As well.
Yeah, he is. I see he's Michigan.
But he was. I'm just saying.
You know what? I'll call him next. You know what? Fuck these guys. I'm gonna call JP. Hopefully he's not fucking. No, JP at that point where you talk on the phone.
Yo.
Hey, JP, you're live on the pod with AC Lee and Parlay Pete. I got a question for you, man. You're a Michigan fan. You got Michigan ties. We have a inkling that Harbaugh may skate to the NFL. How would you feel if Urban Meyer took that Michigan job? We know he won't do it, but tell me as a Michigan fan how you feel.
I would be sick. We don't do that in the college realm. Like we don't want nothing from Ohio State.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I feel like Herb going to Michigan and you accepting it is like you accepting my ex as your main.
You said it's like what?
You accepting my ex as your main, and us still
Yeah.
being cool.
It's very much the exact same. Line of thinking.
Like you just bringing around the guys knowing.
But then you got to add in the context of us being enemies.
Right. Well, you're not even really boys. You're.
Well, see,
you're rival. Like you actually don't like each other.
Well, no, I'm bringing it as boys because when you're enemies, you don't really care if your enemy is with your ex. If you're actually over,
it's like
right?
you could, on one side you could not care, but right, the other side could still ridicule you. They could be like, oh, it was better when he was with us. Like if Herb were to go to Michigan, right, and then go 0-3 against Ohio State, like what that make us look like?
Or and here's why I made that thing. Imagine we're at a wedding. Imagine it's your wedding, right? And a nigga's just sitting in the crowd, and it's like, bro, I know what this guy who I'm actually cool with did to her. That pops in your head when you look at him. When you're gazing the crowd at that altar, once you lock eyes with that man, you go, nah, bro, he ain't just pop one time. Like, nah, he got the works. They were together for 3 years.
Yeah. They did a lot. Matter of fact, I saw what all they experienced.
That nigga talked about her in a group text.
Everything.
He talked about her in a group text.
Right? Like,
she licked his gooch.
yeah, well, they won the national championship in the coaches and the actual college football said they won a national championship. So they did. The most you can do with her is the most that he already did in reality.
So the point out, we called you JP because Parlay Pete brought up the possibility of Herb going to Michigan if Jim leaves, and I was just like, "Fuck no, it's never gonna happen."
Hey, heads up, Lee, I can't hear you at all.
Oh,
I definitely can't hear like nothing.
oh, damn! Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you a little bit better now.
Okay, so what I was pretty much saying was Parlay Pete brought up the possibility of Herb going to Michigan if that job opens up, and I was just like, "Fuck no, it's not gonna happen."
Yeah, no, absolutely not.
That's what we thought, man. But hey, thanks for receiving our call. Hope all is well with you. Get some sleep because I know that can be hard. Just find those pockets.
I'm on the graveyard actually. I just woke up. I'm about to head to work, but it's always a pleasure chatting with you guys.
All right, dog. Yeah, enjoy that graveyard. It's the best place to be. I promise you.
Yeah, I understand.
All right, dog.
All right, brother.
Hey, Parlay Pete, real quick. As a parent, in that newborn stage, isn't the graveyard like the best shift when you can actually hang out with your kid without the mom in your face telling you what to do and how to do it?
Absolutely. if it can end that way, yeah.
I've yet to meet a dad who doesn't appreciate the graveyard shift when they can put the woman to sleep.
Absolutely. I have personally never had to work one. We've had a shift though. I take that back.
I'm talking about graveyard shift with the kid, not graveyard shift at work, nigga.
Oh. Yes. I mean, yeah, there's that too, but that's easier. That's way easier. Well, I keep forgetting yes, in a beginning stage like this, it's a little bit tougher, but it's also better because it's a good.
Bro, the point I'm making, and maybe I shouldn't make it on the pod, but fuck it. It's the being able to hang out with your kid alone without the scrutiny of a woman telling you how to be a parent. And you're like, hey, you're learning this just like I am.
Right.
I'm not poking holes in what you're doing that I may think isn't good because I don't know and it's not egregious. Yo, let me cook.
Yeah. Yeah. It's an unexplainable thing too, because you're getting a special kind of bond too.
Yeah.
In those type of hours. Like when it's daytime, there's the sun's out, all this. And I'm sure the lights are on or whatever at night, but it's just you guys.
Yeah.
No,
for us, it's daddy-daughter time, bro. Like
exactly.
But let's talk about the last opening. Michigan State is gonna be open. Here's what I believe. I think that Mel Tucker and this young lady had phone sex. I believe that. I believe that Mel Tucker may have been more aggressive than he should have been. But what I also believe is that Michigan State is watching what he's putting on the field without what's the running back's name? Not Kenneth Walker. The Jets running back. What's his name? Brees Hall. No, Kenneth Walker. It is Kenneth Walker.
Yeah, Ken. Well, that's a guy.
Yeah, they're watching what he put on the field that's without Kenneth Walker. and how he used the leverage of, I believe, the LSU job possibility.
Mm-hmm.
And they gave him that 95 mil, and they're like, we got to find a way to get out of this. So I'm not calling it a false allegation to not pay a man.
Mm-hmm.
But I believe there was enough gray area in the communication to where they can get him on the morality clause, because those morality clauses are so subjective,
Mm-hmm.
like to the point where, like, if you bring shame to the university, well, this allegation brings shame to the university no matter what comes of it. I think they just want to get out of the contract. They realize he's not the guy. And I believe that Mel Tucker did some stuff he wasn't supposed to do. Like, hey, dog, you're a married man. You probably shouldn't be phone sexting with a chick,
Yeah.
especially a rape victim, because of the optics behind that is that you're trying to take advantage of somebody who has been taken advantage of in the worst way.
Mm-hmm.
Because I do think rape is the most egregious crime that exists above murder.
It's
When you kill somebody, they don't have to live with what you did to them. But when you rape a woman, you take away you ruin a pleasurable experience for them, right?
Yep.
And she was working for the school.
Contracted. Yeah, but it doesn't matter.
But she was working for. I do believe that he could have misconstrued some signals. I do believe that there may have been some mutual interest. But I also want to say that, hey, yo, to any woman, if a guy makes you uncomfortable over the phone, hang it up. Hang up the phone. Hang up the phone. If he's beating it and it makes you that uncomfortable, press the red button. Hang the fuck up.
You're making it sound like this is what she heard.
Yeah, like
you're the friction of. I guess I don't know what the hell he was doing.
No, I don't know. Like, no, as somebody, like, hey, I was in a distance relationship with my wife before she moved here, and you have to get creative to keep a certain bond going.
Yeah, but they weren't in one. That's the point,
right?
That's the way that she's making it seem.
So I don't know what happened. I can't speak to consent because I wasn't in that room, and I'll never try to speak to consent of a room that I'm not in. But when you start speaking about a phone versus an actual physical room,
yeah,
I am gonna put onus on the victim. I'm gonna say, hey, hang up the phone. If this makes you uncomfortable, hang up the phone.
Yeah.
I'm gonna also say, hey, dog, you're the head coach of the ball team, and you know you have a morality clause in your contract. Move smarter. Like there's a sleazeball way for you to move with gray area that you can always cover yourself. What a catch by Jay Jettis.
Yeah, I was about to say, what a dog. I mean, this guy.
He can barely speak the English language.
Can we admit that Justin Jefferson
is the second best receiver in the league? Yes.
Who's best? I'm sorry. I missed it.
Cheetah.
I think he's so unique, but I think Justin Jefferson is like.
I think that Justin Jefferson is a more skilled receiver. He can, but when you throw in Tyreek's speed, his speed overshadows everything else.
Yeah.
But again, back to Mel Tucker. I'm not victim blaming here. I'm not. Like, if he was being a creep, deal with him as such.
Yeah, get his ass out.
But I also think Michigan State has incentive to get off of his contract. And when I look at situations, I also believe that there are opportunities for victims to save themselves. And if it's over the phone, bro, you got to hang up. And if I'm wrong for saying that, I'll die on that hill.
It's just like getting cyberbullied. Log out. shut the computer. Go to a different website. What are you?
And Parlay Pete, I think cyberbullying is harder than this right here because if you're being cyberbullied, well, you might want to be on IG. You might want to be on X, right? Like you might want to do the other stuff on there. When you talk about a phone call, a personal phone call, dog, we both have daughters, right?
Yeah.
And if our daughters, when they get a lot older, and a guy is like trying to have phone sex with them, which they're obviously, and hopefully they don't call us and say, "Hey, Pops, this guy's trying to have phone sex with me. What should I do?"
Guy's asking me what I'm wearing. He's touching himself, and he's talking about he wants me to touch my And here's the funny thing. It happens in life. I don't know if I've ever done it on the phone, honestly, like over the phone. Certainly, it's definitely messaging wise. But I'm talking about with a like not your wife, not like a girlfriend. Like somebody but like you're like, you know what I mean? Like
in my past life, I may have asked for some pictures, a little bit of, hey, what it do, baby?
Yeah.
But at the same time, like the advice I'll give to my daughter is it a guy that you're rocking with? Like, are you okay? Like it would be something about sex. Like, is this something you want to do? If you're cool with it, rock out. If not, hang up. Cancel this nigga. Don't talk to him no more. And I mean cancel in the sense of like hang up the phone and delete this person from your life.
Hey, by the way, we have a gamble sighting in the group. Sorry. Of course the Vikings just scored.
Another blow to the online. There's smoke. O-line. What is he talking about?
Well, because you saw the O-lineman, he got hurt. And so, but he said LOL to me. I'm like, Josh, the Vikings get the ball back and score a touchdown. Y'all are going to lose the game. That's what's going to happen. And you're going to be sitting there throwing beer bottles at a bar and you're not going to be able to go back. I mean,
Josh Holsey might be the king of getting kicked out of the bar.
But I love it because Gambles is basically saying, Josh, you're about to be fucking 0-2 in fantasy football. And he's saying it's courtesy of your guy.
But
there's a lot of time left, and the Vikings have 3 timeouts. Just saying.
So Parlay Pete, we're not gonna put Mel Tucker in the grave yet.
Oh, I think he's fired. I think he's.
Oh yeah, I'm talking about putting him in the grave as a coach. Yeah, he's done at Michigan State.
Well, I am because they weren't good last year and they didn't look good in the games that he did coach this year. Michigan State, I don't know how hard of a school that is to necessarily win at, but like they put guys in the league, a lot of dudes actually in the league. I mean, Kirk Cousins is one of those guys. He's playing right now. Guys make plenty of money. Le'Veon Bell is one of them. I mean, Kenneth Walker. I mean, there's a lot of guys that have come through that program, and maybe because they were. Who can I compare him to in college basketball? I don't want to compare him. D'Antoni, his time there at Michigan State, he would be the equivalent of like, bro, in a weird way, like Mark Few at Gonzaga. Like, you know what I mean? Like, now, granted, that's in a major conference, like Michigan State's in the Big Ten, but like, a team that was, for whatever reason, they've been to a Final Four, they've been to a college football playoff. They've won the Big 12. I mean, they've won the Big 10 before, even. You know what I mean? Sparty's not looked at as this just huge juggernaut. Yeah, I would say that's right. They're more of a basketball school anyways. And so
Tom Izzo is big man on campus.
But I think paying him that type of money, they really do want the out. And in a weird way, I'm not saying that they contacted her to say, man, has he ever done anything to you? Like, or just anyone, like we're just searching for something. But I know that they want out of that contract. They do not want to have to pay that contract. Yeah, I hate it for Mel Tucker, but Mel Tucker was a terrible DC for the Bears when they had a chance to win football games.
You know what, man?
You know the Kirk Cousins. I mean, not the Kirk Cousins. The Jay Cutler. He was the defensive coordinator of the Bears when they had Jay Cutler,
B. Marsh,
Jeffrey,
Forte.
healthy Jeffrey, and Martellus Bennett and Forte. Yes, bro. That Bears team that offensively, you were like, yo, why aren't they winning more football games? Type.
The team that should have beat Aaron Rodgers in the playoffs, but Color got hurt. Yeah. So here's what I think is going to happen.
McCown was the backup, right?
Huh?
McCown, he was backing him up.
I don't know who it was, but he wasn't good.
I
think that he goes to Alabama as an analyst for like 2 years.
Back to where it began, huh?
Becomes the DB coach, leaves, becomes a DC, and he's coaching like a FIU, a bullshit program, win a bunch of games, and he gets back to the Power 5 in 8 years.
I really wish that they could have got this stop.
So we've kind of closed out college football. Let's talk a little bit of basketball, and I think we can call it a show.
Let's do it.
Because I do think, shit, Swift just broke one.
For a touchdown?
No. They're going to go for 3.
6-point game, though. So if they're in field goal range, it's not good.
Yeah, no. Yeah, they're inside the 10.
I really wanted this game to be more interesting. What it is they can say what they want, but okay, I'm just seeing the run. Yeah, they're inside the 5. But you want to know what it is? Minnesota turned the ball over so fucking much. And then the Jefferson fumble in the end zone. They really
real quick on that fumble in the end zone. I think that might be the worst rule in football. Fumbling in the end zone being a touchback, whereas fumbling out of bounds is the ball comes back to the team who has it where they are. Like, I just don't think that rule is aligned with all the other rules in the game.
Yeah.
I think you should just get the ball back where you went out of bounds at. You know?
I understand the rule, and it is such a rule to where but it makes so much sense.
I just don't think the other team should get the ball for that.
Rules, it makes sense.
I don't think the other team should get the ball for that.
Or the ball, because what happens if you get hit from behind at the 1 and the ball goes into the end zone, literally, and it goes out of bounds in the end zone?
Bro, get the ball at the 1, because if I fumble the ball out of bounds at the 50, I get it at the fucking 50. We don't turn the ball over. But then when we get close scoring, then we turn it over.
I get where you're coming from. It makes a ton of sense.
Yeah, like DeAndre Swift looks good today.
Well, just makes me curious as to why he wasn't getting the ball against New England. Why did he only have 1 carry for 3 yards? What was that all about then?
Makes me real curious.
We know that DeAndre Swift has talent. I mean, he was good at UGA. He had good games for the Lions. They traded for him. I just don't get it.
Where the hell is Rashad Penny?
His anytime touchdown was easy too. I saw Penny get in on a couple plays. I don't know what. Hey, can you call Josh? He's calling me.
Oh yeah, you know I'm a big
because he's calling me and he knows that we're doing the show. Like,
you know I'm a big Penny fan though, right?
I think he's made of glass.
I used to hoop when he was at San Diego State.
Really?
Yeah. Hello.
Hey, Mr. Hosey. We're on the pod and you've been calling Parlay Pete. So whatever you have to say, speak now.
Yeah, get it out, Josh.
I was just curious if you wanted to take back his words against DeAndre Swift.
He wants to. You heard him, Parlay.
I'm not a one-hit wonder kind of guy, Josh. I like to see continuity and I like to see it happen all throughout a year. look, it's impressive, I guess, that they're running the ball on a defense that's, gosh, I don't even know where the Vikings aren't a very good they weren't a good defense last year. It's not a good defensive team. We can name like one guy on this defense. I'm just saying, you guys are at home and you're on the ropes. You guys are at home on the ropes, and the Vikings have beaten themselves. They've had like 4 or 5 turnovers today where, Justin Jefferson fumbles in the end zone. I mean, you guys would have been down 1 point going into this drive if he doesn't fumble at the 1 yard line,
And that wouldn't have changed a damn thing.
Are you sure? I mean, you'd be up. Let's see. You'd be up what? You probably would have went for 2. So
Aaron Rodgers' surgery went great, guys.
You'd be up 5 or 7. I mean, I'm just saying. And the game's not over. Look, we've seen wild shit happen in football games.
Before this game, you had the ignorance to say, "Oh, Kenneth Gainwell is out. The Vikings are hurt from last year, so they really want to put one on the Eagles."
They do.
Said DeAndre Swift had 1 rush for 3 yards last week. So he's projected 51 yards today. That's what you fucking said earlier, was that DeAndre Swift was going to have 51 yards. Now he's got over 100 and a fucking touchdown. And all I wanted to hear is that you were fucking wrong.
Hey, Josh Hosey, how about you download 2K24 so we can get out in the park and tell Jordan to do the same place? I have a wing, 6'8". Paul George.
Why does Josh act like DeAndre Swift wasn't a Georgia Bulldog and like we are not fans of this guy? Like we don't know that he's good. We know he's good. I mean,
you know what? He's the only Georgia Bulldog you don't support, apparently.
No. You don't.
Why did Nick Sirianni only give him the ball once last week? I'm just curious. Like,
because he played.
It was first week. Literally, it was his first week as an Eagle. Man, let him work him in.
It was Bijan Robinson's first NFL game, and he found the end zone. He got the ball.
Yeah, because he's the only fucking thing y'all have. Your offense is all running.
We won by 2 touchdowns at home. Look, we did what we were supposed to do. You guys are doing the same thing. You're about to win by 13 points. We won by 14 at home. Look, we get the Green Bay Packers.
Yeah, the fucking Panthers. Come on, man. Come on.
Hey, you play who's on the schedule, Holty. You play who's on the schedule.
We can't help who they schedule us to play. I mean,
we all got this week.
Packers.
All right. Good luck against Jordan Love.
Hey, I would love for you to get
I think Jordan Love looks good, and I thought that he was gonna look good. He looked good against you guys last year when Aaron Rodgers went down in that Sunday night game.
Hey, what are y'all thoughts on this Eagles defensive line?
It's what we thought it was. It's fucking good. They got dogs. They played in Athens.
They have some dogs. They do.
Yeah, like they did what I expected. Like my Captain Kirk thing in the group was a joke. I wasn't serious about that. I know you take my jokes.
Yeah,
seriously.
you want to talk about how Jalen Hurts not make it through the season? No, fucking watch Kirk Cousins.
Well, no,
this O-line is garbage.
No. This O-line looks terrible. Now, look, they also had a guy or 2 out too, but it does look bad. They got
3 now. We just got hurt. We just hurt one of the other ones.
Now, my thing about Jalen, it's not a shot at Jalen, but man, he's taking shots.
He has. He's taken more shots. It seems. I didn't watch the New England game, but even from what we've got to see here, he's gotten hit plenty today.
He's been sacked like 3 times.
But it's not just about sacks. Sacks are an overrated stat when it comes to hits. He's been hit a lot.
And he's been running.
He's not been hit that much. Also, he
runs the ball.
Every other quarterback in the NFL, he's a big, solid dude. He's going to be fine. Don't worry about him.
I mean, he got hurt last year, man. Just throwing that out there.
He got minorly hurt last year.
He missed a game. He didn't win MVP.
It's 2 games.
And it would have been 1 if we weren't guaranteed playoffs.
Here's the thing: you're talking to guys who respect
Look at
roster.
that. Kirk Cousins going down again, doing that little Winston thing he does, just fucking crying.
We respect your roster. We think you guys are going to be good.
Like, the Cowboys are the best team in that division, though.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, you saw one good game out of them against a really bad Giants team. Let's see what happens when they play someone good.
I mean, the Giants got to the playoffs last year, and they beat this Vikings team in the playoffs. So,
On the road.
Yeah, we beat them by 30. We beat them 38-7. Remember that.
Yeah.
Eagles beat them 38-7. 38-7.
hey, Josh, how were you slurring 2 hours ago and not slurring now?
Sound like he's home.
How are you slurring like 2 hours ago? You drink
I
water?
wasn't slurring. You literally just saw a photo where I didn't, a video or where I didn't speak. You said I was slurring.
Oh, I thought you were
I am
singing.
home right now.
I thought you were singing that terrible song.
That's what it sounded like to me. Maybe that was somebody next to him. I don't know.
I was in a bar with 50 other people.
Yeah, I thought I heard your voice. It's very distinct. You're Josh Holtzy, man. You know, you don't just blend into the crowd, man. You stick out.
Yeah, Justice like Madison. We picked up like 15 yards there.
He did. Too bad it won't turn out. It won't amount to much.
Hey, Josh, how do you feel about the USA team getting beat up in the field?
Hey, we're the game of the week on Fox.
Hey,
Oh, congrats.
We're the 1 o'clock game on Fox that everybody's gonna have to watch. I love it.
hey, Josh, just so you know, when we play y'all in the 4-5 matchup in the playoffs, you can come sit next to me.
I would love it if we played y'all in the playoffs.
Yeah,
I just don't.
You, honestly.
I mean, the Cowboys win the division. We win ours. You play us in the 4-5. You're sitting next to me in 133.
And we're going to get hammered before the game.
I think the Bucks are better than y'all right now. So we'll see.
Hey, look, he's talking about this Vikings team, right? And
Josh Holmes doesn't watch football. Josh Holmes doesn't watch football. He watches the Eagles. So we know that his opinions are here.
Hey, and Pierce Hall just said that DeAndre Swift wasn't going to do nothing tonight. He ran for 100+ yards and a touchdown.
I never said he wasn't going to do anything.
I point out things that y'all say that are actually wrong. You just like to throw out this random.
I liked him on the anytime touchdown. I'm glad he got that. I liked him on that anytime.
That's what I'm saying.
Hey, Josh, how did you feel about the daily on the Google piece? That was some good shit, huh?
Sorry, I couldn't hear that. Say it again.
How you feel about the daily on the Google? That's some good shit, wasn't it?
Oh man,
I meant to text you about
I
that.
can't believe this guy just fumbled again.
It's a joke.
I mean, look here, man. Google's gonna win that court case, even though everything the daily rolled out against him was like absolutely right.
Oh, you said the daily on Google?
Yeah.
I think it's interesting. Google's going to win it, but I do think it is an interesting court case, and it's interesting that they actually like accepted it, and they like that's actually something that's being tried right now.
No, Google definitely has a monopoly when it comes to being a search engine, but they have enough.
But they also do have a good argument when they say that their product is better than everyone else's.
And they have a good argument saying that, hey, we provide more than just a search engine.
Now, more importantly, what do you think of the automakers in the U.S. For Ford? What is it, Ford?
Yeah, for the big three, Ford,
GM,
Chrysler, GMC.
Yeah,
I'm not gonna lie to you.
they're striking.
As somebody who is looking at the auto industry because it's a great supply chain to get into.
You could have called P out
there.
No, you couldn't have.
I'm not mad at it because I know that if I go work for the auto industry, I'm not going to be a union worker.
Did you also see that Kaiser Permanente just announced that they're striking too?
I didn't see that. No.
That's like 80,000 hospital employees.
Shit, that's going to be great. Did you see that Bill Maher is doing his show Friday?
Hey,
No.
Jay Dennis.
Yeah. Like Bill Maher's doing his show on Friday without writers. So he's part of the guild, and he's the first person stepping out. And I'm actually gonna do a bid on it. Truck Tales, shout out to Truck Tales. Go to my TikTok and see that. But I'm gonna talk about that because
TikTok touchdown Vikings.
Yeah, no, I'm fucking with Bill Maher doing that because Bill Maher understands a lot of these Hollywood fucks actually don't generate money.
Oxford's got 2.
And they're striking in order to protect the money that they don't generate to keep making it. He's like,
Yeah.
no, I actually generate money. And y'all can write me out of the guild. That's fine. I'm a stand-up comedian, so I can always do stand-up and make money because I make money because I'm Bill Maher. So I fuck with it because I support union employees striking when they feel like they're being taken advantage of. But when I look at what's going on in Hollywood, I actually don't think these writers and these actors are being taken advantage of in the way that they're trying to present it. I think that they're not generating the revenue because the movies don't exist and because of streaming and the ad dollars don't come in.
You're starting to sound real quiet right now.
Hey, look here, Josh. We'll actually talk about this on the phone because it's not a great podcast conversation.
We'll talk later.
Yeah.
I do think it's all interesting, and I would like to have that conversation.
Hey, are you at home?
Yeah.
We're closing the pod. I'll probably call you in like 10 to actually talk about this interesting shit if you're not asleep.
All right, sounds good.
All right, Doc. Oh, yeah, Josh is going to Parlay Pete. Let's talk about some basketball real quick and call it a show because, yeah.
Hey, by the way, the Vikings are closing. What a they're not closing. I'm sorry, they're covering right now. What a shock to anyone that took the Eagles -6.5, or if you caught them, it was -7 at one point. It was, I think, at kickoff it was literally -6, so it's a push if you did it right at kickoff. But it was like minus. And who's to say that they don't get this onside kick?
So let's talk about these NBA's new rules about resting players. I'll come out and say before I get into the rules, I support the NBA in making the players play because fans buy tickets to watch the players, and I get the teams doing the best they can to win championships, but it goes back to what we talked about on the front end. Dog, play the game.
Yeah, just play. And, I know a lot of times they bring up a Kobe clip of Kobe talking about, the reason why I play in games when I can, if I'm not literally physically able to do it, I do it because there's a kid that probably saved up all their money or their parents did this for them to come and see. And then if I just don't play because I didn't feel like it, he's not only letting that kid down, but it's as if he's not trying to lace him up or something. And it's like, I get the injury issue. Guys like Kawhi who do get hurt, they just, for whatever reason, they're glass too. He's a glass player. I get it.
And I think the injuries are a different conversation than you just resting guys because they played a back-to-back. So here are the new rules. No more than one star player is unavailable for the same game. Teams must ensure that star players are available for national TV games and in-season tournament games. Because, hey, them niggas went playing the in-season tournament.
Yeah.
Teams must maintain a balance between the number of one-game absences for a star player in home games and road games, with the preference for those absences being in home games. Teams must refrain from any long-term shutdown or near shutdown when a star player stops participating in games or plays in a materially reduced role in circumstances affecting the integrity of the game. Teams must ensure that healthy players resting for a game are present and visible to fans.
Mm-hmm.
The players, this goes in the league honors. The players must play in at least 65 regular season games. The players played in at least 62 regular season games, suffered a season-ending injury, and played in at least 85% of the regular season games played by his team prior to the player suffering said injury. The fine system: $100,000 for the first violation, $250,000 for the second violation, $1.25 million for the third violation. The team will be fined $1 million more than its previous penalty for any violations beyond the third.
Right.
Exceptions: the NBA will allow pre-approved designated back-to-back allowances for players who are 35 years old on opening night or have career workloads of 34,000 regular season minutes, 1,000 regular season and playoff games combined, sources said. So LeBron can sit out.
Chris
So,
Paul can sit out.
yeah, so here's my issue with the NBA. I like what the NBA is trying to do, make the players play. But what they defined as a star player is an all-star, all-NBA player within the last 3 years. Jamal Murray is none of them.
Mm-hmm.
Nigga ain't got to play. No penalty. And he is the second best player on the best team in the NBA.
Well, we call it. I feel like this will get the nickname the LeBron rule because he's about the only one who benefits from it, right?
And think about
which makes sense. LeBron's in year 21 now, coming up. Makes sense. He should be able to do it. He plays it still. He plays it at high, and he's not somebody that backs down from not playing.
No, I think LeBron takes proper rest. But I also think that this idea of rest is bullshit. And these niggas ain't going to work. I get your work may be more strenuous, more taxing on your body. But at the end of the day, you guys are getting paid and you're not going to work. So all the NBA is asking is, hey, dog,
show up, go to work. But what stops a team from starting Kawhi Leonard for a game and he only plays 5 minutes, 1 minute?
His stats. I don't think he'll do that. But what stops a team
does that stop him from getting paid? Does that make somebody
that? What stops a team
does that really stop that?
What stops a team from saying, hey, he's injured, he's experiencing back tightness? So
it has to be, it almost as if there has to be an NBA position. Nobody can tell you how your body feels.
Nobody.
So I think that just what it is it's a wake-up call to the fact of, hey, stop doing this, like not playing shit.
Yeah, so that
was stupid. He should have low-key let it go, but whatever. You know what's funny? I'm sorry to cut into the NBA. They could literally get the ball to like about the 40 or 50, and Kirk could just heat one up to Hawkinson and Jefferson's area.
Yeah, that's why that dumbass should have fucking just fair caught it.
Fair caught it, yeah, because you saved yourself at least 2-3 more seconds.
That's another play. So here's the thing: what I like about what the NBA is doing is they're telling their consumer base that we want our guys to play. That's what they're saying. They're like, hey, we want the guys to play.
And money.
and I'm not against them trying to make the guys play. Now, if you want to talk about the 82-game season being too long, sure. Hey,
it fucks with the books and stuff, though, records. And I know the NFL just stopped caring because they were like, I don't care, we're adding an extra game. But it does fuck with the books, too. And they've been doing 82 games for how long? Because I'm trying to think, even before the Heat and Raptors, Magic, they were still
I want to say since the merger.
Yeah, they've been doing 82 games even before all those teams got added. So, like.
Oh, this is the last play. Kirk's arm's not big enough.
To get a 6-second play to where you can get it to where it's a Hail Mary?
Now, to get a Hail Mary on that last play.
See, I'm behind you. So, where did they get the ball to, at least? Jetta's probably got the ball, right? Quick pass.
No.
Oh, no. Okay, so the game's over.
Yeah, it's over.
This was stupid. What a dumbass way to end the game. But they could have used 6 seconds. Well, if the dumbass fair caught it, they would have had, let's just say, 9 seconds. You would have had 8 seconds to get the ball out of bounds as close to the 40-yard line, about the 40, 45. Really would have been ideal.
And they could have threw the ball to the end zone.
Guess who Minnesota has next week?
Oh,
Chargers.
that sounds like a loss.
Well, the Chargers could be 0-2 after this week. And then you start talking. Now we're getting into true elimination. Like, oh, yeah, they're just not going to the playoffs type shit. Like they don't have a chance to go. But you know what? Minnesota kind of beat themselves, honestly. In a weird way. Like, I think the Eagles played well, but Minnesota kind of beat themselves. So.
Yeah, they definitely did. But let's talk about.
No, but I was going to say this just on that piece with the NBA. There's nothing that they can honestly do to stop it. But I like the idea of them putting pressure on it to where this can be checked. We can audit this. Like, we can actually go in and see, hey, okay, he's having back spasms. What type of treatment was he getting? Like, was this logs? Like, did y'all, when did it start? Like, there will be, it's like a truck driver driving overnight. Like, there are logs that they have, right? When you have your CDL, there are logs. Does this even make sense on the timeline and stuff? So I like the idea of that because it does make more guys play. And I think that at the end of the season, if anything, it'll stop shutdowns. Like Dame Lillard not playing the last 12 games for the Blazers to get a better draft position. It stops stuff like that because, okay, so now he's got back spasms to the point of where he has to miss 4 or 5 weeks. Come on. You know what I mean? Come on.
Hey, bro, I've had back spasms. And they suck.
Fuck that. It's not a hamstring injury. It's not turf toe. Like it isn't these things. It isn't these things where it's like a how much can you deal with pain type shit. It isn't one of those things.
Yeah. It's take a week or two off and get back at it.
Well, especially if you're getting treatment.
Good treatment. What about the Deshaun Watson Ralph Kraft treatment?
Yeah, well, we're on the same. That Watson Kraft treatment, yeah.
But no, so like, I like what the NBA is doing, trying to force the players to play. I think it's disgusting that players don't play because fans deserve to see the guys play, man. Like at the end of the day, like if I go to a Hawks-Lakers game this year, and the Lakers only come to town once, I want to see LeBron and AD play that game.
Right. AD doesn't need to be out because it's a back-to-back, and he played in Orlando the night before. And he's getting ready. And he's getting ready for Magic City. But you'll see that motherfucker in Magic City, and he's like doing everything. Like, you know what I mean? Like nobody.
I saw him last night in the Magic City, but then he's not playing today. No, that's nasty.
No, it's not fair to the fans. And it's not good for the league, especially if that game's on, hell, fuck it, NBA TV for all I care. Like,
yeah, so last thing, FIBA happened. The USA didn't medal because we didn't send our best players. And now
they still should have won. That's the crazy part.
Bro, they let Dylan Brooks give him 39. Yeah.
Hey, 39 and they took a medal.
Yeah.
In the process. It wasn't just a loss. They took a medal. It was a medal game.
Now that nigga Dylan Brooks said, hey, I'm really tired of how y'all talk about me in the NBA. I'm him. Let me go do this real quick. But now they're talking LeBron, KD, Steph, Kyrie. The niggas are coming to the Olympics this year is what we're probably gonna see.
And that's what we want to see.
So I think we're going to see a redeem team, a dream team type vibe.
You mean redeem team 2.0?
I might shit. The way they talking is dream team 2.0.
Well, the redeem team was the dream team. Really, if we want to be, it was dream team 2.0.
Yeah, but I feel like it's more dream team than
Kobe.
redeem team.
Hey, I'm just saying, Kobe, LeBron, KD, Melo, and Metal Melo at that. Olympic Melo is a different play. Olympic Melo is probably better than Hoodie Melo. So
Olympic Melo is definitely
more accomplished. But
so I think the dogs are coming, and Embiid did that citizenship stuff to where he could play for USA?
France, Cameroon, a lot of different directions he could go.
Here's what I think USA basketball needs to do, and it's echoing some stuff that's already been put out there. Do an actual trial with the best players play. Trae Young said he wanted to play, and he didn't. Just to put it out there for you folks, Trae Young averaged more points and assists than anybody on that team.
Yeah.
Nike, I know you want your guys out there. Let's take the shoe labels out of this. It gets back to why NBA players should play. Get back to the competition of the game. Get the best players playing. Who cares what shoes they're wearing? Because they're representing the United States of America. And I ain't gonna lie to you, dog. It's bad enough that Trae Young can't make the All-Star team or the All-NBA team.
Yeah.
The fact that he can't make the Olympic team, y'all put Jalen Brunson out there, and you watch the early games. You watch. They tried to make it Jalen Brunson's team. Guess what? Trae Young plays point guard better than Jalen Brunson ever could think about playing it.
He does, and it was a lot of, if we want to talk NBA status, a lot of C-list guys on the team. Not like C-list for real. They're really B-list dudes, but like
No.
Because there's that LeBron, Steph, these guys tier. Then there's the Paul George. Like Paul George is in that second tier. In reality, he's not in that.
Paul George is not on the LeBron Steph tier, but he's A-list.
No, I'm with you overall. I'm saying from like how you said when Prime and them getting to the Hall of Fame and they're meeting up, there's a different table for certain guys. So that's why I'm saying he's a B-lister from that perspective. He's not in that. He's not, because there's enough of those guys in that one tier. Like LeBron, KD, Steph,
Chris Paul.
It's weird because you have to almost throw AD in it because he was on the All-NBA 75 team for whatever reason. But like same with Dame. Like they're just guys. They're in, and they're not even really at the table with LeBron either. In reality, they're not either. But like
LeBron, Steph, and KD
have their own. That is like its own. Those are the. Yeah, no, the niggas that are sitting next to me at this table, that are at this table, nigga, their names are synonymous with shit. Kobe, Jordan, Jabbar, like
yeah, bro,
like it's real niggas at this table. This is a real table.
But here's the thing: I feel like when you see LeBron, Steph, and KD sit down at the table, the only nigga who can walk up to that table right now in the league comfortably is Chris Paul.
Yeah, and even he still just doesn't match.
Well, no.
He's not a champion.
He gets to come to that table as the fourth person.
If there's an open seat, he gets the seat.
But like Mikal Bridges.
Now, and we're talking USA players too, of course, because I'll tell you say what you want, but Jokic he's telling people that he could sit. He might be able to sit there himself. Like not today, but maybe tomorrow. Like he might be able to really sit there.
You are not gonna get any bad words about Jokic out of me.
Well, because you've seen it. We got to see it though.
It
did happen.
Yeah, like I told you, bro. I had to see it from Jokic first. I saw it. He's him.
Yeah.
So USA basketball needs to go back to the drawing table and take the shoe bullshit out of it. Stop trying to prop people up. Stop trying to pick and choose who they want based on how they play in the NBA. Because I listened to Gilbert Arenas talk about it because, Gilbert, he got snubbed from Team USA back in his heyday. He's an Adidas guy. It was Nike shit. And he talks about the way the shoe companies have so much influence on it. And I believe it because you're not going to tell me in 08 Gilbert can't play on that team.
For sure. No, for sure. Agent Zero Hibachi was a different guy.
Yeah, you talking about 08 Gilbert?
Gilbert Arenas' run, maybe not as great, but in terms of that 2 to 3 year run that he did have, reminds me of T-Mac's 2 to 3 year run with the Magic. Like in terms of just pure scoring, they were similar. They were similar from that perspective. They did it differently, but they were similar. Because they were 30-point guys, man. Those were 30-point dudes.
I'm a Gilbert.
IT's almost 38. That what they did is what I'm saying. It ain't that.
I'm a Gilbert fan. I had Gil Zeros back in the day, right? I think Gilbert Arenas is the best suited basketball player to be in basketball media because his was up there with the guys, all NBA, dragging the Wizards to the playoffs. But I also think the fact that he was a second round pick, he got hurt. He wasn't Gil, he wasn't Agent Zero, he wasn't Hibachi anymore. That when he talks about the game, he can talk about it from every level. The young nigga trying to make it, the nigga who made it, and the old head who lost it. The old head who lost it in his prime, in his prime years. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I saw the team that ESPN put out. That's not gonna be the fucking team. That shit they put out was trash. They didn't have enough guards, and we have too many guards in America. Here,
who's the holdover from the FIBA team? Ant Edwards, I assume.
Ant Edwards and maybe BI. I think
he had he actually did play poorly.
No, he sucked.
So did Mikal Bridges out. All them dudes outplayed him.
Hey, I'm not gonna lie to you.
Very poorly, man. Hell, Austin Rivers outplayed him. Austin Reeves outplayed him.
I ain't gonna lie. Austin Reeves might make the Olympic team because of Braun. Because Braun likes playing with him.
Well, and just like Christian Laettner, they gotta have a white guy.
Yeah.
There's no Kevin Love anymore. Kevin Love was the guy that was on the teams with them. Ain't no Kevin Love now. They gotta have one white. There's got to be one white NBA player. And I
also like Cam Johnson, bro. He was a catch and shoot monster. I only like his 3-point shooting ability.
You were a better defender. If he was a Mikal Bridges type defender, maybe. But
I don't think he makes the team, by the way. But
he's gonna have too many shooters. Hell, I'm not trying to be funny. They'll let Clay's ass on the team before they let him. If Clay wants to play, they'll put Clay on the team because Clay can sit up and shoot the ball, right? He can still shoot the ball.
I'll say Ant-Man and maybe Jaren Jackson. That's it.
You know what? Jaren Jackson will be a good one to have, though.
The rest of them niggas, hey man, put on your team. Hey, you know what? Fuck your team gear. You're on the select team. Come out here and work.
Show up so we can have this practice game in Vegas so that we can sell out T-Mobile Arena. You know.
And you know what? You can come to Vegas for free and do all the Vegas shit you like to do. But hey, Parlay Pete, man, we've had a great fucking show. It's 3.5 hours. We weren't supposed to go this long today, but who gives a fuck? You got anything else, man?
I'm ready for some football this Sunday. That's all I can say.
I'll give you specifics on Saturday, but I'll probably see you on Saturday and probably be on your couch Saturday night.
Sounds good to me. You just let me know, brother.
All right, dog.
All right, great show.
Yep.
All right.